Welcome to the Alpha, welcome to the show. You better get ready, cause I wanna see you going. Give it my time, waiting on my turn. Got a lighter in my pocket now, I wanna see it burn. When you dance with the devil, when you dance with the devil, when you dance with the devil, your holy hell will burn. Ain't gonna take any prisoners tonight. When you wanna do it, then you gotta do it right. Do the rockin' house, wild and loud. And if you're lukewarm, we're gonna spit you out. When you dance with the devil, when you dance with the devil, when you dance with the devil, your holy halo will burn.
She said, do you come from a land down under? Women go and men wonder. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Buying bread from a man named Brussels. He was 6'4" and full of muscle. I said, do you speak my language? He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, I come from a land down under. Rivers flow and men gender. Can you hear the thunder? You better
Evening all. Welcome back to Beyond the Lane, episode 12. Look at these beautiful guests I got on tonight, eh? Lovely. Danny, mate, welcome to the show. Lovely
Thank
to have
you.
you on. How you doing, buddy?
Thanks for having us on. Been a long day, same Spurs, different day, but I'm all right, mate. Hope everyone else is good.
And Jords, mate, nice to meet you. How are you?
Yeah. No, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on the channel. It's been a pleasure. And Dan, no, I must say the background's slick, man. I'm loving the Spurs theme. It's looking good, man.
That's Nige. That's on Nige, that.
Actually, Perch, but you know.
And Perchy, mate, how are you? You good?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys, for having me on. Can't wait for the chat. It'll be good. I'm all good.
Nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you too.
And Nige, how are you tonight?
I'm good, mate. Big up Dan, big up panel, and big up chat. Looking forward to this. Let's get into it.
And big up everybody in the chat. Big up everybody watching at home. Hope everybody's well. Please get involved with your comments throughout the show. Look, where do we start with this? I mean, I'm not happy. I've got to be honest. I mean, I've calmed down a little bit since the weekend. I'm just not happy how things are going. And I expect so much more from our club. We're on the downward spiral. And there's a lot to get into tonight. We're going to be covering the Chelsea game. We're going to break that down. We're going to have a look at... Look, there's so many people with so many different opinions and pointing where the issues are. You know, people are pointing to the players. People are pointing to Ange. Everybody's pointing to Levy. Look, we're going to get into it tonight. And I'm sure everybody on the panel has different opinions. So, look, everybody in the chat get involved as well. Look, we're going to have a good show tonight. And, let's get going. So, look, George, I've got a question for you. How are you feeling since that Chelsea game? I mean, it's been a couple of days now. How are you feeling? And I've got a question as well after for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously, like you said, calm down after a few days to really reflect on the result, reflect on the game, watch it back, try and, break it down more from not as an emotional point of view, actually just try and analyze the game for what it was. I think definitely looking at the game as a singular point of view, Ange could have made some changes. Ange definitely could have done some proper game management there at 2-0 to maybe bring us back into the game and sort of manage the actual state of the game. Because I think one thing we've known as Spurs fans is we lack control. quite frankly, we lack control in a lot of the games. We probably had 1, 2, maybe 3 games this season where we've shown real control. And outside of those, it tends to be basketball transition football, like what Jamie Carragher said, one of the most exciting games to see because it was just so back and forth, end-to-end stuff. I sit back and I look at this and say, there is definitely a problem with what the manager's doing, but the players, I can't help but look at the players and look at some of the performances and just say, like, we need better. We need more. I look at Udogie, and that's probably one player I'll sit there and say, look, he's been run into the ground, man. Like, you could see this in the second half of that Bournemouth game. Then again, in the second half, because the first half, he was really strong. You look at it, he kept Pedro Neto out. He didn't really cause us too many problems down that right-hand side. He sort of kept showing him the byline, and then when he did take him down the byline, he's winning a few of those battles. But in those second halves, he's dying, man. He's literally out there running down on one leg. And to be honest, I think it's like you say, one thing we can all be in common, whether you're the manager in or not. You look above board and you say, Levy he hasn't given us the squad to perform. He hasn't given us the players and hasn't given the manager enough to be able to do a good enough job of where we're at right now. Now, with again, looking at the Chelsea game, I'm not trying to take it away and say the squad building and all that. Looking at that game in particular, I think Maddison could have come in a bit sooner. And if Maddison did come in sooner, we probably could have seen us, manage the game a bit better as we went on. But ultimately, it's a tough result to lose, man. 2-0 up. We drop it 4-2. I don't even look at it as a 4-3 game, to be honest. I look at it as a 4-2 game because they pretty much we got a goal right at the end and it was a consolation. But to go from 2-0 to 4-2 to 2 silly penalties again, I just look at the mentality of our squad and say when people call it Spursy, it is very Spursy at this point because the mentality, it happens far too often and it's only to us. So there's definitely some questions there.
Some good points, man. And look, we're going to get into it. We'll probably go into it a little bit deeper after I've gone around the panel. Got a few questions for you all. But first of all, I forgot to say to everybody, please, everybody's watching, please like, share and subscribe to all of us, myself, Nige, Dan, Perchy and Jords. Please, that would be great. Much appreciated. And I think, look, let's just say hello to a few people while there's not so many people watching. So big up to Mark. Big up, Mark. Hope you're good. Big up to Tom. Who else we got in here? Big up to Kiwi Spurs TV. Hope you're well. Big up Simply Ace. Big up Peter. Hope you're good. Big up Eugene as well. Hope you're all right. And any more? Got Haz. Big up Haz. Hope you're good, mate. And big up to Wayne as well. Let's see if there's anyone else. I think that's it. Oh, one more. Bad Gashner. Evening to you as well. So, George, following on for what you said. Now, do you think Ange's style of play cost us that game?
I think his lack of changing the style of play in the game or just making little adjustments is definitely what lost. I wouldn't say it lost us the game because 2 individual errors with regards to the penalties lost us the game, but I think it didn't help us in the game because essentially we had no midfield. I think it was clear to see Sarr and Kulusevski are pushing up far too high. Kulusevski, understandable, but there should have been a point at 2-0 where Sarr's being told to drop in and do the double pivot role with Basuma, and Ange doesn't help himself there. I do think if we have a better number 6 there, his system works. I think the system works dependent on the players you have, but obviously it's been very clear when there are certain players missing, the system doesn't work, and you either get really good or you get really bad. There's no in between.
Does anybody want to come back on George on that? That he thinks it's not. It's what both. I think you said there, didn't you?
Go on, look. I'll go with that, yeah. And I think what you said was right. I just think you described it the wrong way. You know when you said like he didn't adapt, basically, yeah. I think it's his lack of football knowledge overall that shows is why he can't adapt. We've been questioning this for a while now. Is it that he's too stubborn? Is it that he's naive and just learning off the Premiership, which he's had a season to do now? Or is it just the fact that he hasn't got the football knowledge to adapt to a game? Because he only knows one way, because he's only ever played in substandard football leagues, and he's never managed a big team in a big league and anything like that. And he just totally underestimated things because he really doesn't know how to deal with a situation. And now it's come to the point that even the pundits and other players or ex-players, professionals, are also using the phrase, they don't think he's actually got the knowledge, the know-how on how to do this. And I think it is starting to show, very much so. It has done for a while for me. I mean, after the first 5 games, I thought you're going to have to adapt sooner or later. And he doesn't, does he? If a normal manager with I would have thought with half of football knowledge as such, yeah? Now, I'm not saying the man is a stupid person, but football knowledge, he really doesn't seem to have it. Because I think any one of us would have sat there and said, right, 2-0, okay, we've gone down to 2-1. Sit back a bit. Soak it up a little bit. Don't burn yourselves out anymore like you did the first 20 minutes. After the second goal, I'd have already had to set it back a bit and calm it down a bit. And then maybe go out for another burst. Catch him on a counter. Nope. Kamikaze, straight up. 2-1. Comes on to the next bit. Hang on, Perch.
Oh, sorry.
And comes on to the next bit. Nope. Kamikaze. We blatantly all saw that other goal coming. Bang. 2-2. My man does nothing until we're 4-2 down. Nothing. Now, those 2 penalties, I'll stick up for the manager on this one. Basuma and Sarr both deserve to be dropped for the next 10 games for them tackles, as far as I'm concerned. But we can't do that anyway. Maybe an exaggeration saying 10 games. They were horrendous tackles, especially Basuma. He could have got a red card if that would have been closer. Yeah. But the manager made no adaptation in that game like he has done time and time and time again. And we've won 3 big games now, 4 even, when we've played non-inverted and had to play more of a counter-attack, counter-press. And then as soon as we go to another game, bang, he puts it back to his normal way and we're back to square one again.
It's just, Dan, just I'll add on to what Dan said. Like, I get it. Like, it's chaos, right? We watch Tottenham play. It's chaos. Like, you say you can't put on the manager for the 2 fouls, but it's the way we play football-wise that is allowing this to happen. Look at how the whole Basuma lose the ball high up on the pitch, and we don't ever look solid in any pattern of form, any pattern phase of the game. It's everyone's everywhere. It's just we play like we're chasing a game with 5 minutes to go from minute 1 at any scoreline. We could be 3-0 up and we're just all over the shop, charging forward. Like, sometimes you've just got to. The second goal goes in. You get 2 fortuitous goals. I'm not discrediting that. You go 2-0 up in 11 minutes in a game of football. And most managers go, do you know what? Okay, let's just tighten it up, give it to 10 minutes, get it to half an hour and go, let's just keep this. The first goal, the first warning sign goes in, Sancho's goal. Awful defending, by the way. I thought Porro defending that was atrocious. Basuma defending that was atrocious. Like, yeah, let's be fair, great goal, but the defending for it was atrocious. But regardless, park that for 1 second. 2-1, cool. Kill this. Let's kill it. Make Chelsea work hard for it. We all know, and let's be fair with it, we all know right here, we went at 2-1, in 15 minutes, we ain't winning this game of football. In the back of our minds, we were all saying it. I don't care how much of a fan you want to be. We all went in the back of our mind at 2-1 in 15 minutes went, we're not winning this game. I said it in the group chat. During the group chat, I said it. 2-1, we ain't winning this game of football. We're not winning the game of football. And I could immediately that happened. And I knew it was going to happen. And we looked, after that first goal, we looked second best across the park.
Can I ask, is that just because of the mentality of the players that we're used to, because we've seen this happen so many times, or is that because of the manager?
But we talk about mentality. We went to the Etihad and won 4-0. So, like, we got to balance it.
Don't you think that in those games, I feel like it's different to try compare to go to the Etihad and win 4-0 because there's no pressure on the team. Let's have it right. Going into that game, even us as Spurs fans, we were like, do you know what? We can forget about that game. It's the Etihad. It's City. Quite frankly, they're probably going to beat us. Then when you go into those games, the team have absolutely no pressure on them. So when they perform, it's easy to perform. But it's not easy to perform when you must. Look,
I get what you're trying to say. I kind of get it. Man City, we changed the way we played against Man City. We soaked up a lot of pressure and went counter attack. I think that's the best way we play football. When we sit in a little bit, rigid at the back, and go get it out wide, get it out, shift it out wide, and we'll counter attack on them. We don't do that though. We didn't do that against Chelsea. We basically said to Chelsea, my mate's a Chelsea fan. He was messaging me after the game, went, I can't believe how easy you made us for us. You made it so easy. You were so gung-ho, and it was all about entertaining and all this nonsense. Instead, why you made it so easy for us to play our way. For me, you go 2-0 up, fortuitous, you could argue, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. You're 2-0 up in 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Now see that out. Play a little bit deeper. Allow Chelsea to soak up a bit of pressure. Counter attack out wide. We're dangerous on the counter. Players like a Pape Sarr, awful on the weekend. He was atrocious, but he weren't playing the game that he's good at. He's good on transition. We don't play in transition. It is chaos. You watch us play and you go, we don't have any control whatsoever. It is madness.
Other point there quickly. One thing. Out of all that, I mean, you're both right here, but I'm definitely with Jords on this one. It was down to the lack of pressure, wasn't it? As well. I mean, they put it on us. We had to play the way we did. It wasn't that Ange told them to play that way, like I thought. It was basically City made us play like that. There was lack of pressure on the players, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So why do they need to perform?
The free hit.
But let me reverse this. Right? Yeah, let me reverse this as well. Lack of pressure on the manager as well. So they didn't really have to perform. Yeah, and every time there's a bit of pressure, the players fold, but then so does the manager as well. So I'm totally with you there, Jords. Manager and players, no pressure, they're cool. Put the pressure, they both fold.
I just thought there was a real opportunity to sort of prove a lot of people wrong, like against Chelsea. Like, I'm a massive critic of this manager. I don't think he's a very, very good manager. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't think he's a very good manager. I think he's very, very naive. I think he's very, very stubborn in his ways as a manager for me. And I sit there but prove cynics and critics wrong. Go and show you can adapt within the game, and go in it. As I said, I'll repeat myself. You go 2-0 up. You have a real basis, a basic that you go, do you know what? We can win this game now. Did anyone, I'll say it again, did anyone genuinely feel like we could win that game at 2-1 when they scored? I don't see where we were going to win it.
I would just go and say that just in defense of Ange, to be honest, I think when you do look at the bench and you look at the options to actually change the game state, obviously there's a few things you could do. As I said, we could probably talk about how you could have put in Maddison, but he's not helped by it. We don't have many different role profiles in the team. It's not like he has a different type of left back or he has a different type of central midfielder. He wanted an all-action number 8 in the summer. We didn't get that. So what did he get? Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray, who can't come into the pitch and actually have an impact in the midfield and play the way that we want to play. So I don't feel that it's not helped by the type of players we have. We haven't got too many different types of roles in our team. So
I agree.
Very similar.
Isn't Basuma like an all-action number 8 though? I thought that's what he was.
Sorry?
He was Nigel when we signed him, but we're using him as a number 6. So he's not even been able to play in the number 8. And also,
we use our players all over the place. We play square pegs, round holes every time. But
Basuma was never a DM. He covered it once or twice at Brighton and covered it all right. But the way he always played was a number 8. Yeah, come back a little bit sometimes, but box to box, get the ball, go forward with it. He was never one to sit back.
When he's at his best.
And he was that good when he was at Brighton, at his best with it. He absolutely destroyed teams like us, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. He done a lot of them and controlled the midfield from there. The main problem is...
Dan, I've got a question for you, mate. I've got a question for you, Dan. So do you think that defeat exposed that we have squad depth issues?
What's that, mate?
So the squad depth, do you think it exposed it, that defeat?
Yeah, it's been exposing it for a while. I mean, in one aspect, the squad depth we've got is pretty much pathetic to an extent. I mean, we went and bought players for 40 million, like Archie Gray, who have never even had experience in top league football. And we all know how we feel about that. Yes, chances are he will come good in a few years, but that's not what we need it for. We need it now. And same with Odebert, there's hope there, and Bergville, hope there. But where are the players when you need them now? I mean, what he should have done in that game was, before it even comes to subs, he didn't have to make subs at first. He should have changed the tactics, sat back a bit, counter-attack. But while they were pressing on us, we were still inverted, which left us open down the flanks, which he should have already told them, come wide. And we was getting cooked on every angle because we were sat in the middle, basically, still trying to get up there. We had two busted defenders sitting on the pitch that at least one of them should never have been on the pitch, which was
madness
criminal
itself,
on its
by the
own.
way.
I mean, how can a manager with common sense put two players that are only just out of injury there when he's got one fully fit defender standing there?
Do you think that's a manager that is under pressure manager has gone and made a rash decision like that? That's why I look at that and go,
it's the squad depth. What Dan said, it is the squad depth does us no favours at all. Can you blame him for that? He has said twice now on two separate occasions, and once was only the other week, that yes, he says yes to the players, the ones he wants, and he was more than happy with the players he got because they were the ones he wanted. So he puts it on himself. But the lack of squad depth does definitely show.
Dan, I'll flip the question though. And I know your thoughts on this, so it's kind of more for everyone, but we talk about squad depth when we lose games of football. We weren't talking about squad depth when we went to the Etihad. We've had squad depth issues all season, right? We're only talking about it now when we lose a game of football, right? We were losing games full strength anyway.
I don't know about that, Perch.
George, but we were losing games of football when we had no injuries. So,
no, but that's my thing, though. I feel like we've always had a squad depth. If anyone think that we had a good summer or good transfer,
George, I was hearing it from everyone. 8, 9s out of 10s, I was hearing.
No, that's crazy, and that's mad. That's where people get it wrong. If they're evaluating that transfer window and think that we actually had a good one, they've lost their mind because we never even got 3 first-team players. We all said, I'm pretty sure all of us is in agreement.
No, fair play. You're right.
We signed one.
Every Spurs fan was in agreement. Like from last year, we need at least 3 players to take this team a level forward in that first team. We signed 1 for the first team and then 4 to come in as backups. That's a horrible window. And in itself, we didn't improve our team. In fact, we got worse because you have to remember how many players did we get rid of squad-wise? So our squad got thinner and it got younger. So essentially, we was always going to have this issue once injuries come around where the squad's so thin now. We're playing 3 games a week in 4 competitions.
We're playing 4 competitions with 3 centre halves. Work that one out. It's madness.
I think so many fans got overexcited by the fact that we got rid of so much deadwood, effectively, that they ignored the fact that we didn't really bring anyone in. That was my biggest problem with the window. You know, we got rid of a lot of deadwood, fine, but we just didn't bring anyone with quality or experience into the squad.
Do you not think we bought deadwood, though? I think we bought players that in 2 or 3 years' time will be deadwood. Let's be fair with it. Yeah. I think Odebert will be deadwood in 2 or 3 years' time. No disrespect to the kid. I think that's where he'll end up because he'll be in that deadwood category in about 3 years' time when we can't get rid of him. I'm nothing against him, by the way, but I thought we should be getting a lot better quality than Wilson Odebert. But Brennan Johnson, I think, will fall in that category in 3 or 4 years' time. We won't be able to get rid of him, and then everyone will be going, getting rid of deadwood. Like, for me, do you know what? For me, it's always been simple, right? You buy better players, you'll get better results. It's normally quite. It doesn't work as simply as that, but in theorize it, you can get better players, change the system, get better players, and change the system, right? I just get. For me, we bought really, really poorly in the summer. Said it all along, and now people are starting to cotton on to it. I think more and more people are cottoning on to it that. These injuries that were happening, we knew it was coming. The Vicario one, I knew was coming when the fact that we re-signed Fraser Forster. By the way, I'm not criticising him because he's been our best player for the last 3 or 4 games. He's been our best player by a mile. Yes. But my point is in the theory of you get better, you do better. It's normally quite as simple as that.
The other side of it is quick with that one. Is the fact of the depth is a major problem. But in the aspect of it, it's what I keep telling people. To me, playing football is no different in a lot of ways to playing a game of poker. I'll say it on here, like I've said it on others. I don't know how much others like to play poker. I used to play it a hell of a lot, and also for money. And you can have tactics to poker, or you can just do as you wish. But there's only so much you can do in poker, even if you've got tactics. And that's play with the hands you got. You can only bluff it so many times, and then people will catch your bluff in it and just screw you over time and time again. You have got to play with the cards you got. This man over 18 months has done absolutely no adaptation to the players he's got, but expected the players to 110% adapt to what he's got. If he's, again, a good manager, no, they're not going to be liking that they can't do it fully his way, but he's going to think, I want to win games. I'm not just here for entertainment. So I've got to adapt to what he's best at, but in the long run, to get the best of what I want off other people. But no, keeps inverting two wing backs that are overlapping, keeps getting centre backs basically as centre mids, keeps playing number 8s as number 6s, keeps getting wingers to basically sit in the middle, keeps getting Maddison to come back deep. It's all over the place. You can name about 7 of those players that aren't played in sync. And surely he should have adapted now to the players he's got, because he's had 18 months to adapt to 10 of this first team. He's only got 1 new player in that first team, and the team has regressed. The team has not adapted to his style of play. So surely the manager should be reading this now. Out of the 10 of the 11 players that I've got now, 10 of them I had all last season, and I've been training with them countless times, and had more training time with them than pretty much any other top 6, top 8 manager last season as well. He should know his players by now. He should know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. And he has got to do the adapting to make this work.
Can I ask a quick question? Because look, I agree to an extent on the whole squad depth. Here's the way I will say, though. This is my point. When we're 2-0 up against Chelsea, is it squad depth that the problem we lost that game, or was it tactics? For me, I think the tactics are a bigger problem than the squad depth. I'll stand by. Do I think we need better players? Yeah, 100%. But with the squad depth, the tactics that we play, they are worse, a bigger problem at the football club right now than the lack of depth in the squad. That's my opinion.
Guys, let me stop you there. Right, I'm gonna go ahead with the tactical breakdown, right? Because we're jumping all over the place. So let's get that done, and then we can jump back into it, because I've got a few more questions to ask around the game. So look, let's just crack on with that, yeah? Nige, could you get it up on the screen for us, please?
I can, mate.
Thank you. Right, so where is it now? Is that the first one? Hold on, go back to page 1. All right, let's just run through this, yeah? And if anybody wants to jump in after any segment, please do. Give us your opinions if you think it's right, if you agree with me or not, from your perspectives of the match. So how I seen it, yeah? So Spurs, they started really fast, yeah? They were closing Chelsea down. We were getting tight up against their back four. We saw Kulu and Sarr pressing Lavia and Casadio, and Udogie was pressing Neto. And if you looked, we were really dominating that left-hand side. Cucurella really struggled with the press, and that's where the first goal came from. So, Jords, talk us through that first goal.
Yeah, so literally, like you said, man, Cucurella slipped. Do you know what? Big up to Johnson. Really good for him to really pick up on that really quick, get on the ball. Good ball, straight first time. Probably what we see of him very often, and usually it goes wrong because he tends to do the ball first time and it goes way over down the left-hand side. But it was a good ball into Solanke and good finish, good movement from Solanke. For the first time I've actually seen him get in front of his man at the front post, because I think at Bournemouth, we saw it very often. At Tottenham, we've not seen enough of it. So it was good for a little combination play between them.
So after that, so really, in the beginning of the match, our kind of aggressive approach was really catching Chelsea out. Look, both teams were giving the ball away, weren't they? You know, it was so frantic. It was like a proper London derby. And it was fantastic to get that early goal. And it was a good goal from Solanke. Now, the second goal, we saw that Fernandes, he passed the ball back to Cucurella and he wasn't ready to receive it. He slipped. Johnson played it into Kulu. And Dan, do you want to talk us through that second goal?
I just thought with the second goal and the first goal, they'd done very well to get the ball basically and make something of a situation. Not just stand there for split second and think about it. They actually just done it on instinct. And both the goals, whether it was given to us on a plate or not, I thought it was good. I mean, the second one was that I'm trying to think what one was what? Was the second one Johnson's crossing? No, second one was Kulu running it across, wasn't it? Yeah. The way Kulu took it across them, I thought they could have defended better, but I'm not going to complain. But I think he took a clear open shot that was there. He took a chance, he took it, scored. Good shot, good goal. Chelsea's goalkeeper, I think he leaves a bit to be desired, but I can't say I really care. I thought that was a very good goal by Kulu. And I thought the first one was a good goal as well. I did love the way Solanke stopped, went to the other side of his man and put it in. But it was well finished by Kulu, the second one.
Yeah, it was a good goal. It was frantic, wasn't it? And, when we went 2 up, I was like thinking, bloody hell, Spurs. Like, what do you do to us? Like, we struggled to turn up against Fulham, struggled to turn up against Bournemouth. But we think, hold on, we've got a derby here. Let's have a game. It just baffles me. It really angers me, to be honest, that we can turn up one match like that. And then last week against Fulham, we just seemed so unmotivated. Look, let's carry on with the tactical analysis of the game. So moving on after about 20 minutes, Chelsea started to gain some momentum. You saw Lavia really start to get involved in the game, especially in the middle of the park. He was getting the ball, turning, and he was picking out Chelsea forward players. And both Chelsea's wingers were really isolating our fullbacks and were causing us problems. We saw that Chelsea did get a foothold of the game and they started to dictate the play. And I think Lavia was really key to that. I don't know what everyone thought about Lavia in that first half. Anybody?
Oh, I thought Lavia was absolutely brilliant. I thought he's a top midfielder. I like him. He was one of those I'd have had at Spurs. He was the one. He started everything for Chelsea.
Anyone else want to say anything about that guy?
Yeah, pretty much that. Like you said, he was playing all the key passes through the middle of the pitch. He was getting on the ball and breaking the press and making those line breaking passes. So he was killing us.
He was. So look, I mean, I looked at Lavia's stats. I know he went off at half time injured. He had 100% passing accuracy in that first half. 100%. I mean, that's crazy. Hey?
I don't take all that passing percentage to heart, most of it, because me and you could get 100% on there with 20 passes if we stand next to each other and pass and 6-7 foot with each other. So I don't take all of them into gospel. Yeah, all right, to get 100% on all of them. He was. But I don't take 100% of all the passes like to how it sounds. I think it sounds better than what it is. But 100% is 100% still, whether it's 6 foot or whether it's 20 foot. I do get the sides, but there was a lot of short, quick passes by him as well, where it would have been harder to miss the pass than actually get the pass. I think they just had us totally on the short ball, long ball, everything.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we've got someone slipped in the back door. Big up Detrex for slipping in.
Big up everyone.
Secret guest on the show tonight.
How's everyone doing?
You are, mate.
All good, all good.
So look, this is when the first goal happened then. So look, we were playing with a high line as normally we do. And Sancho really exposed it. There was no one in front of our defence and he went right across the goal. Nige, do you want to cover that goal, mate?
I mean, it was a good finish to start with, but for me, Porro should have done more. Johnson should have done more. And a centre-half should have come out to him. He has so much time to pick his space. For me, when I did the watch along with the Sheriff, and I was like, why didn't Van der Ven or somebody just go closer, go and close him down? Because it was almost like you can have a shot. And it was a good finish, but frustrating.
Yeah, it was a good goal, weren't it? It was a great goal. Right, let's move into the second half. So here we go, second half. Let's get that. Okay, so the second half started, and we saw that Chelsea, they maintained their momentum. Casado moved into midfield for the injured Lavia, and Gusto came in at right back. And Casado, I even thought he was pretty good in the first half, was very strong on the ball. I saw him knock Sarr off the ball a number of times. He was dominant in and out of possession for Chelsea. Then what Maresca did, he moved Cucurella into midfield and was kind of playing that kind of inverted fullback role. And then Chelsea kind of went to a back three. He swapped Balasici, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and Colwell to their natural positions. And then, so it kind of gave him like a back three. It gave Chelsea better balance in the build-up. Palmer moved to the right, and all these changes made sure that Chelsea players were naturally footed on the right side of the pitch. Better passing lanes opened up, and Chelsea kept on piling that pressure from the first minute of that second half, and that which led up to the Chelsea penalty. Chelsea's passing patterns were causing Spurs so many problems, and Ange just did not react. And our shape totally fell apart. Palmer and Neto were linking up on the right, causing us problems. And that's where we saw the third goal. Fernandes. Detrex, do you want to take that goal?
Like I said, that goal is the definition of garbage tactics from Ange. When you give players too much space, look at what they do. And you see the difference between the quality we have and the quality they have. Cole Palmer is a fantastic player, you can't say no two ways about it. And when you give him at least like a whole afternoon to take his time and take a shot, look what happens, a goal.
Can I just ask, how is that on Ange's tactics that three players would draw that position and couldn't tackle? That's bad.
If you put a number 6, a proper number 6, like Onana Aston Villa, he would sit in front of the defense and protect the back line. But we have midfielders that have to cover so much space that they just, after 90 minutes, like, you cannot blame them. They're going to be tired and they're going to lose focus, which is normal. Every human being is going to lose focus. And under Ange, it always happens towards the end of the game.
Great.
And Detrex, you missed the other point as well. Whoever is playing as a number 6-ish player, where we don't play an actual number 6, they're also having to cover the left and the right, where both our wing backs are up at the same time and inverted. So they're having to cover the whole back line. How are they meant to do that? And you couldn't even do that with AI robots.
Yeah, and when you ask Pedro Porro to go and attack in mid, you're gonna leave space behind. And then the two defenders are going.
In particular, Palmer had Udogie defending him. It was a 1v1 where he took him down the line. He beat Udogie, cut back inside, drawed Van de Ven out, and then drawed Basuma in, and that's how it went into the. Because what I've seen is a lot of people screenshot that image of the goal and be like, "Look at the tactics. Look at this defending. It's diabolical." But no, it's generally poor from the players. The players shouldn't be all getting drawn into that position and sucked into that space by Cole Palmer, because like you said, people are scared of him shooting because he's such a good player.
Let me just add one point to you. You know Cole Palmer is a fantastic player. If I was the manager, I would tell you, Dougie, you're not my best defender. Let me tell one of my wingers to drop them. We're gonna target 2 players on him, but we never do that.
Is it not the case though, guys? Like that. How many more managers just go into halftime and go, tweak it a little bit and go, we'll beat these because they won't change anything. We leave managers and the manager leaves these players out to dry. So look, by the way, I'm not excusing the players. The players had a stinker of a game, but the players for me get exposed on these tactics. No one. The manager doesn't go, look, guys, look, they're absolutely battering us here. Like, we'll watch and go, change it. If you've got to sacrifice an attacking player to drop a midfielder in, an extra man in midfield to go, do you know what? Let's just soak up a little bit of pressure here and there. Why don't we do that? But why does it always seem to be like we go, Basuma and Sarr, you've got to go and sort it out, get on with it, kind of thing.
Look, let's just finish this tactical thing and then let's just jump back into it, man. Because, look, it sounds like a lot of people have got plenty to say about this game still. So, look, let me just finish it off. I've nearly done it now. I ain't got much left. So, look, Chelsea, they went back to a back three. I know I said that already. And their wingers were just causing so many problems. They got proper wingers, Chelsea. Proper wingers. And the Chelsea were just playing the ball around with ease. They just looked completely dominated us in that second half, I thought. The fourth goal came along for another penalty, and it was Sarr, this time fouling on the right side of the box. And when it went to 4-2, for me, I thought it was game over. We did try and push Chelsea back in that second half, but really didn't offer anything threatening. And although we got a late consolation, it's just such a disappointing result, and it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. Now, a question before we jump back into it. Should Maddison have started that game? Because he has the most goals and assists for Spurs this season, 5 goals, 4 assists. He's our most creative player, and I thought we missed him. What's your thoughts on that? And Nigel, take this down now, please.
Will do, mate.
Thank you. Anyone want to take that first?
I think Maddison should have started personally, but I think that Ange loves Cooley. Cooley works hard, so he's always going to start. I was surprised Cooley got taken off, to be fair, because he usually plays 90 minutes. Yeah, I would have started Maddison, but
I wouldn't have started Maddison. I think Maddison should have come into the game at the point of, let's say, 45, 50 minutes, when you could see that we was... Because the way that I think the one thing that Ange consistently does wrong is waits too long to make that first substitution. If you come out at half time and you can see within the first 5 to 10 minutes that the mentality is not there and they're not changing, make that sub and tell those players to wake up. I think at 55 minutes, I think they may have got that penalty after that point. At that point at 2-2, it's all right, Sarah Basuma, one of you are going to have to come off. Maddison, come on. Let's get control of this game. Or even take off Johnson, because Johnson got injured at that point. When Johnson got injured, take off Johnson, put Maddison on, shift Kulu out on the right, and let's get some control in the middle. Let's bring more bodies who are actually good on the ball. But I think he has to drop Maddison at times, because, like you said, he can only play in that position where Kulusevski's going to play in. Kulusevski's outperformed him this season. Whether he has,
how did Chelsea manage to do it then with Fernandes? He's not like that defensive, is he? He's more of a creative midfielder. I mean, surely we could have played Maddison alongside Basuma and have that creativity. Because what is clear in that game is we had no control of the football. We had no quality on the ball to, keep it ticking like a playmaker type. And Maddison can do that. We saw him do it the other week against City.
Even if we had the most creative players on the planet, the way we play under Ange's system, we're never going to have control of the game anyway, because he doesn't want control of the game.
No.
But I would have preferred to have a better quality player on there to try and help us, because we were getting overrun. We need someone to get it down.
Then you can put Man City team. I swear to God, we'll still find a way not to be creative or control the game.
Look,
I just don't. Look. Did the 11 that came out and go? Do I go? Should that be in Chelsea? Not guaranteed it, but we had enough on that pitch to go. Look, we can get something out of this game. And the worrying for me is I look at it. For me, we can talk about should Maddison have started, should he have not have started. For me, Maddison's the best, most creative player we've got in our team at the moment. He should be playing. But tactically, I don't think the tactics that we deploy do not suit any of our players. Actually, no, one player. I don't think it suits anyone bar Van de Ven. And how's that work for him? Because he's getting constantly injured. These tactics don't suit anyone bar him.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the tactics suit. It's just some of the players. I think you're looking at it the wrong way around, because I feel like if we actually, all right, Udogie, I think suits the system. We saw
Really?
No, it doesn't.
No chance.
Does it?
No, it does not. He's not inverted.
He played good on the inverted role last year. He's very good defensively.
No, he didn't play well. He only played half a season well.
When he was cutting in and he was driving, he only played for half a season. He was out since February. He is injured for the last 6 months. And he came back. Did you not know? He didn't have preseason. So he come back straight, no preseason. A week before the game, he was back into our training and then got thrown in at Leicester. He hasn't had that chance to even build up that time. That's why we've not seen him play his best. I generally feel like at this moment, when we talk about, you're saying the tactics don't match up to the players, you're not supposed to match the tactics to the players. You match the players to the manager and the tactics. Yeah, but he's tried to do that by bringing in Odebert and bringing in Van de Ven, bringing in players that actually match his system. But unfortunately, we've had so many injuries, we're not unable to actually play his system to the fullest.
Jords, now we go again to what I said at the start. He's had 18 months to do this. He should know, like the back of his hand, what 10 of those players that he has been playing straight for 18 months and training for 18 months can and can't do. If certain players cannot play to the capability that he needs them to play there, he either needs to play someone else there, and if he hasn't got it, And if other players haven't got it for how he wants to do it, he has to have a plan B. He has to have the knowledge and IQ of football to adapt to the way that he can get the best out of these players for the meantime until he gets a specific player in that can play the way he wants. But Udogie is no inverted wing back. I watched him at Udinese enough times. Serie A is my second league. I follow him up. The reason I followed him is I knew where we got him. Yeah. And as an overlapping, he plays much better. He done that.
I get what you're saying. He can do the overlapping role, but I don't think to say that he can't invert is wrong, because we see when he gets on that ball and he drives through the middle of the field, just like Van de Ven does.
Doesn't suit him though.
No, wait. George, you say he drives with the ball, but if you play in very fullback, you have to be technically gifted on the ball, and he's not that.
He's not technically gifted, but he is good technically. We're not gonna.
No, he can't pass, he can't shoot, and he can't dribble. He can only drive with the ball.
He can definitely dribble. He can definitely.
No, he can't.
He can't pass. I'll give you that.
What I would say Udogie's great at. Look, sorry, I'll put Porro and Udogie together here. What they are good at is getting that ball forward. They travel with the ball wide. For me, that's where we're dangerous. With those two wide. However, the problem is when we invert, we actually nullify our strengths out wide. For me, you've got to get those further forward. But the problem is when we bomb further forward with those two, we're exposed defensively. They're so high up the pitch, we're exposed defensively. But I don't understand. For me, we should have a manager now. And Dan alluded to it. And he made a good point. Being here for 18 months, the manager, we should be getting better with these tactics. If what we're trying to say here is right, if we're trying to say that tactically the players are in and they suited to this system, we shouldn't be losing the amount of games we're losing. We should be getting better. Results should be improving, but they're not. They're getting worse.
You're not adding the context that how many.
What's
injuries
the context? Oh, no, injuries. Everyone's got injuries.
Injuries, though.
Let George stay his bit.
I just don't think that you can sit there at any team. You can't sit there and dismiss the fact that we're missing Vicario, Van de Ven, Romero, Benchcore. That's literally our core. That is our spine. That's our number 6. That's our 2 centre backs and our goalkeeper.
Hang on.
4 of our best players. 4 of the players that play his system to the best. They literally suit his system.
Who?
Can I? Wait. No. Pretty. Wait. George, can I prove your statement wrong? Because when we had those players, we were still losing games.
Thank you.
So it doesn't matter.
Hang on. We're losing games with or without the players, right?
And you know what's funny? We conceded more goals when we had Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, and Vicario. All 5 of them. And we conceded more goals.
So then we can look at, are some of these players good enough? Now, that's a different conversation. Is Pedro Porro good enough for us long-term right back? No.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think Pedro...
Yeah, he is.
How do you think
Pedro
Porro
right
is good enough, but Udogie's not good? What are we doing here? Pedro Porro
Neither of them are right backs. Neither of them are right back or left back. They're wing backs. That's a total different kettle of fish.
Can I ask a question though? Like, just a question. We say, are the players good enough? And no, that's fine. Like, we ask a question, are the players good enough? And that can be a debate we can go on all night about, right? But surely you tactically, and I specifically mean tactically, adjust to what you've got. Isn't that the sign of a very, very a good manager? You go, do you know what? Fine. What I've got right now, I can't do what I'm doing because for me, it doesn't accommodate with what we've got. So I need to adapt and change to what I've got in front of me. We can talk about if they're good enough. We have a good enough squad to not be in 11th in the league. I'm not having anyone tell me now that the squad that we've got, injuries or not, are better than Brentford, Fulham, Forest,
I don't feel
Brighton,
like you're actually looking at it. You're not trying to actually break because I feel like you're looking at it as we should be, and ultimately we should be. We're not a club that should be 11th, but you're not actually trying to look and break down why are we 11th. If you look at it that way, then
I know why we're not 11th because we're tactically all over the place.
But that's not the answer. I feel like there's so many ways to look at it, and you can say squad building. There is some tactics, there's some, but it's a bit of everything. You can't just look at Ange and say it's all down to Ange. The tactics aren't good enough. We're 11th because of him. I don't think that's true.
But George, can I just quickly yeah? Do you know why I put so much blame on Ange? Because he specifically said those are my transfers, my players, my tactics, my everything. So the buck stops at him. If he never made those comments like Conte did when we bought Spence, I would have said, you know what, this is not on you, this is on Levy. But he made the choice, he's happy, and he even won, I think last week, and said, we need to continue buying more youngsters instead of proven players. And look
Well,
what's
I don't want no
happening.
leaders. I don't want no leaders. I want to make
I don't want no
leaders.
leaders. I want to keep Son as my captain. And you know he's not captain material. That's on you.
I just look. I'm not. Look, I look at it and I sit back and I go, the players that are playing. Let's be fair with it. Out of that 11 that played against Chelsea, who was unavailable and not playing that wasn't first team, whatever you want to call it? Vicario?
Bentancur.
I mean, let's be fair. Bentoncourt's been hit and miss.
In and out.
I think he's
been
been one of the best.
Sarah
Yeah,
Basuma,
Sarah
it's not like Sarah Basuma haven't not played games. Who else was unavailable? One player,
Yeah,
I'll
if you
say.
look at the team.
You want to say
Odegaard,
I'll give you that.
Richarlison,
I'm not having Richarlison. He's crap. I'm not having that.
But
He's
Percy, you
awful.
can't do this though, because you're asking what players are injured, and I'm telling
Hang
you.
on.
He's not getting no options.
If Richarlison
Richarlison was did he not score 10 goals last season when he was fit?
okay, George. If Richarlison is fit,
I'm not
does
a
he start
Richarlison
over?
fan, by the way.
No.
I know. I don't think he's good.
I don't know who is a Richarlison fan. He's one of the worst players up front.
He don't
Worst
score
nines I've
goals.
seen. Oh no! Oh, get out! He's rubbish. We know he's not very good. But but in theory, my point is with Richarlison, does he start over Solanke against Chelsea? No, he
doesn't
don't.
start, but he could come off the bench and cause a problem.
Oh, I'm not. I'm
Richarlison's good or not.
So,
if you bring him on in the last 15 minutes against any team, he's a nuisance. He's going to cause a problem.
I'm talking about starting 11. Out of the 11 of the team that started, we talk about injuries. Cool. That's starting 11. Out of the team that started, who out of the injured players missing? I'll let you have Bentancur and I'm Vicario. Two injuries to the 11.
I think Odegaard. We saw at the start of the season when Odegaard came in. He
Jords.
Can I just?
Did he not start against Arsenal?
Wait, George, just one second. Can I just finish my point? 1 sec. Just apology. 1 minute. Just finish my point. Did anyone see Arsenal against Fulham the other day? Do you know how many injured defenders they've got? Arsenal. Five injured defenders they've got. Calafiori, Ben White, who was the other fella? Zinchenko. No. I'm talking about they had 5 defenders unavailable for the Fulham game. They had Thomas Partey playing at right back.
He's played right back a lot.
And they played, but he's only playing when they've got injuries, right? They've had what's his face? Kivior, who never plays a game from its centre half. When we talk about injuries, we always talk about injuries on the basis of Tottenham. Everyone has injuries. It happens, right?
Can I just back you on one thing? Do you see when Arsenal has injuries, like that's unlucky. But us, when we have injuries, he had the choice to keep Phillips. He had a choice to keep other players. But he decided to send them on loan.
Facts.
So whose fault is that?
On that? We don't know.
What did he also hang on? What did he also say when he was up at Celtic? When there was issue there, what did he actually say? I've got the picture here. I can probably send it over to you, Dan. He stated the majority of injuries we have up there, because Celtic had a lot of injuries as well. It's just where their team was so formidable compared to the rest of that league that is supported by the English government and lower than the American league, which just about justifies the whole reason that any one of us could go there and manage Celtic and win it, that he could get away with it. He even blatantly stated, clear as day, basically 8 out of 10 of the injuries are due to the training. I can get the picture up if you wish.
No, done. I think all the hamstring injuries are definitely.
Yeah, so how can we train like this and then play like this, train like this, play like this, and expect a team to play like that for 90 minutes, 38 games, every other game and that? He's going to cripple them, literally.
And this is the problem.
How many injuries have we had away from Van de Ven? Because I know Van de Ven, that's one we can all admit. I think he's not managed that well. But away from him, how many hamstrings injuries have we had? How many has he had?
Vicario just got a hamstring injury.
Vicario, did you say?
Oh, no, not Vicario. I mean Romero. Sorry.
No, Romero got a quad.
Knight wanted to speak.
Romero's a quad.
I forgot what I was going to say now. No, I was going to say, we talk about the players injured, and a lot of Spurs fans, we got this player out, and this player out. Doesn't that just tell you, though, the strength of our squad? Because other teams can have players out, and they can just bring players in. Our squad is so thin that the players we bring in are just not in the same class. And if someone has said to me, Spurs have played 15 games. We've beaten Man City, Man United, Aston Villa. I'd be thinking, okay, we're probably up there or thereabouts, and we're 11th, which says it all to who we've lost to.
But we have players. Sorry, just quickly. We have players like Spence, Reguilon. You can use them. I know they're not the best, but at least you can use them just to help you in the Europa League. He made the decision. He made the decision not to put them in the Europa League squad. Whose fault is that? And put 5 goalkeepers.
I just think when these things, Detrex got a point though, but like I just think we always go down this road of, when it goes wrong, who's at fault? I never hear this stuff when we're winning games of football, right? And I get the point, I get the gist of it, but it just, I just don't understand. Like,
we had the worst team against City. We had the worst team out against City.
I agree. We actually defend better with Ben Davies and Dragusin, man.
No one mentioned injuries then when we had Davies and Dragusin there, did they? No one mentioned injuries. Injuries weren't a problem. Now all of a sudden we lose a game. Injuries.
I don't think that's true though, Dan. I think everyone mentioned injuries. That's why we didn't expect to get anything from the game because of the injuries.
Guys, I've got to
after the game.
I've got to jump in. I want to wrap this Chelsea review up. Right, go around everybody. Final thoughts on that Chelsea game, and then we're going to talk about players versus Ange. We've got to get into it. So everybody, Nige, final thoughts on that Chelsea match.
Disappointing and Ange.
Dan?
Disappointing, but what else did you really expect? It's Chelsea, innit? Like, it's Chelsea. You just knew it had happened to Chelsea if it was going to happen to anyone. But to me, again, Ange just proved he can't adapt. His game management, should I say, is absolutely horrendous. No changes until 4-2. No changes in tactics. To me, he's proved it again. It's just getting worse.
Yeah, I agree, man. Jords, what's your final thoughts on that Chelsea game?
Definitely disappointing. One that we need to look back on and reflect on, like you said, learn from it. Ange needs to learn from it, and hopefully the squad can use that use that result to push them on and realize what we don't want to be. But yeah, we need a lot.
Fair enough. Perchy, final thoughts on the Chelsea match?
Am I allowed to swear on your channel?
Yeah, it's fine.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck, effing disgraceful. It was disgraceful. So I'll leave it at that. Keep it simple.
And Detrex, final thoughts on that Chelsea match?
Final thoughts. I was not surprised we lost. I told since day one that this guy's a clueless manager. And when you 2-0 up, instead of sitting back and trying to manage the game, he decides to play his tactics, and look what happens. The sooner he gets sacked, the better it's going to be for the club.
Okay, fair enough. Look, for me, I ain't spoke much tonight. You guys have been having fun. Look, it's totally unacceptable performance from Spurs for me. When we were 2 up, that's when the game management needed to kick in from Ange and the players. Yeah, they needed to sit back a bit, just take stock. And, we're pretty good on the counter-attack, We saw it the other week. Now, Ange, again, he just wanted to go this kind of chaos football. I know what he's thinking. Basically, he's thinking, look, let's try and get 4 goals up. But it can't always happen. And Chelsea are a good side. So if he was a little bit more sensible and a bit more clever, he would have managed the game better. Look, all the pundits on Sky Sports said exactly the same thing after. You hear it everywhere. Talk Sport. So many people are saying it. So this is fact, yeah. You have to listen to what them guys are saying. They've played the game, right? So, it's real, right? We can't get away from it. But this is an ongoing theme we've had all season. We threw away points against Brighton, yeah. 2 up against Brighton again. No game management. So this is ongoing. In the second half, Chelsea they changed it, yeah, tactically changed it, and Ange again didn't react. He didn't react. And good managers react. He could have pulled it round. Even if Chelsea got a goal back, 2 goals back, he could have still made decisions to help us get through that match. But for me, very, very disappointing. That's on top of the last 2 games. We lost to Bournemouth, didn't turn up at home to Fulham, and we're slipping down that table, and it's just not working. I'm not having the excuses of injuries. I'm not having it. There's too many excuses I'm hearing. So look, guys, let's get into the bigger picture now. Now, I'm just going to run through everybody really quickly before we go into it. Because I'm hearing so many different reasons why this is not working at Spurs right now. You know, as I said at the start of the show, players, people are blaming the squad, people are blaming Ange, people are blaming Levy, right? So, Nigel, start off with you. Where does the blame lie?
What?
I think it's mainly, listen, obviously the blame lies mainly with Levy, but sadly, the manager, it always falls on the manager's head. I think it lies with all of them. I think it lies with Levy. I think it lies with the manager. I think it lies with the players. I think all of them need to take a slice of the pie.
So, like a
But obviously
combination of them all.
mainly Levy.
Okay. Dan?
With this whole thing, for me, it is. We all know where the cancer of the club is. Some people don't like the phrase, but it is what it is as far as I'm concerned. And that is Daniel Levy, because he eats it from the inside out, and that is what he has done to this club for many years. And then it runs down the system, which is why Spurs are not a winning club. But yes, he picks the managers. Yes, he picks the people who buy the player, who pick the players, whatever else than that. So when it comes to the tactics on the pitch, you can't blame Daniel Levy for the tactics. You can't blame Daniel Levy for how the players actually play. No matter how much I don't like this fella, you can't blame him for that. That's down to Ange. It is the manager's job to get the best out of those players and win games come hell or high water. If certain players aren't responding to the way you're playing, then you have to get someone else in there. If you can't get someone else in there until January or even until the summer, then one way or another, if that way or this certain formation is costing you game after game after game after game to the point where we've lost more than we've won in the season, and it's only been 15 games, then it is your job to adapt and make this work one way or another to get points. Now, a lot of people go on about Ange on how, but compare him to Klopp and Pep, which is almost criminal on its own. But they both had 26 wins in their first time and that, and by the second season were doing things. Yes, let's just say this: Klopp only lost 6 games in his second season. Ange has already lost 7, and it's only how many games? He is not improving, and he is not doing nothing. He's so stubborn. He might as well step on that hill and do that sword himself now. He's so stubborn, or he just hasn't got the IQ to play it any other way with football, and it is showing on the pitch time and time.
Can I ask a question?
Last bit. Now with the players, you can blame some of it on the players, because some of the players, they just look like what Basuma done the other day was criminal. Okay, if he wouldn't have been in this position, that position, but he shouldn't have run towards him and done nearly a double-footed challenge on him. Run towards the fella and shout something about his mother or something, for God's sake. He's got more chance of missing a shot on goal there than he has a bloody penalty. I don't care whatever tactic he's got to use, but you do not go in 2-footed like that in the bloody penalty area. And at times, some of our players have made some very stupid decisions. But then when you swing it again, is it because the amount of pressure they've been on at the back, where they're meant to cover that much space that they don't, and they're out of position to an extent half the time, that it's almost forcing them to make these decisions? I suppose that tell as time goes on, sort of thing.
Let's get some data on the screen. Yeah, let's get some data. You can't probably see that very well, but basically what it says, it's comparing Ange's record and Conte's and Mourinho's record. I mean, it's so small. Let me blow the screen up a bit, read it out. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can see it better. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So Ange, 53 Premier League matches, 26 wins, 19 losses, 8 draws, 86 points from 159 points, 1.62 points per match with Tottenham. Conte, 56 Premier League matches, 32 wins, 15 losses, 9 draws, 105 points from 168 points, 1.88 points per match with Tottenham. So Spurs have won 26 points from their last 30 under Ange. Since then, over the past 13 months, Spurs have won 60 points from 129 in the Premier League. The reality is Ange's points won over the past 13 months have been mediocre, and he's performed worse than Conte, who was, a lot of Spurs fans wanted him out because of the style of play. look, let me come out of that. Let me drop that out. Jords, I heard that you wanted to come back with Dan on something. Do you want to do that?
No, it was just really quickly to understand. Did anyone here actually expect us to finish in the top 4 this season?
No.
Did anyone?
No.
Oh, so then that brings me on to my point even better. If no one expected us to be in the top 4 this season, then why is this such a terrible start?
Because
Because we're in the bottom half of the table.
No, but let me get on to my point. Just
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Just simply because I know if you compare it to last year, where we had our best ever start to a Premier League season. In comparison, the contrast, it makes it look terrible. But let's just look at a normal Premier League season. He can, if you give him time, because I know he did sign a 5-year contract. This is a rebuild. We all know this was a rebuild. Did you expect within 18 months for everything to be turned around completely?
Right.
Or did you think that it's steadily going to progress forward?
Dan, can I go
Let me
quick?
just turn this with a couple of facts, Detrex. I've got something written down here for that. The reason I predicted us not to finish top 4 was because of the way the manager plays purely. With the players we've got, I think there is a capability there, if you change the formation and get them to play to their, that we could challenge for a top 4 or 5. But the reason I predicted 8th is because hear this out, yeah? How much time do you want to give Ange? And here's the proof that he cannot adapt and manage a team that he has got there and then. Under Celtic, he had a player turnover of 98 players in 2 seasons. At Yokohama, he had over 100 in 2 seasons. At Melbourne, it was 48 and went nowhere. At Brisbane, it was 63. He only exceeds by bringing in new entire squads, and he's never able to coach one particular team. Those are facts. You can't argue them. Now, if this manager thinks he's coming into Spurs and going to get a turnover of what? 98 players in 2 seasons, 100, 48, 63, and be able to turn it all round, it's not happening. You might as well walk now.
Can I just
cannot adapt to what he's got. Sorry, Detrex, I just wanted to put them points down.
Yeah, just quickly. So I predicted we're gonna finish 10th because after the summer window. But you know what's my problem? He said he wants to challenge his second season. Those are his words, not mine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put him to that. I'm gonna put him to that standard. So if you buy youngsters and you say you want to challenge for the league,
no,
then
DJ,
you have to.
You're wrong. You're quoting him wrong. He didn't say challenge. He said he wins stuff in his second season. He didn't say challenge for the league.
No. His first
he said,
season.
I want to be.
No. He said his first season he's here to challenge for the title. He said that.
He said at the end. He said next season I want to challenge for the title.
He said it. I'm not lying. He said that.
But he never said that that's the aim. When he's been asked to clarify that in interviews, he said my second season I usually win things. He never said I usually challenge for the title. I usually win things. So,
he stated, I want to be challenging for that title in the second season.
He
said it in his words.
If he does win something this season, are you guys still Ange out?
No, if he wins. If he
wins something, I'll hold my hands up. But can I get my point here? Just so I don't mean to, because for me, look, the first question, Dan, you said was, where is the blame lie? I think that was where this all stemmed from.
Yeah.
So
this is what we've done the show tonight. Yeah, that's
so this is the micro and macro argument. The macro argument is Daniel Levy is the biggest problem at this football club. I don't think we can park that for a second. But the micro problem at Tottenham is Ange Postecoglou. Whether we like it or not, and you can like the manager, you don't have to like it. One win in 7 is a problem. I don't care what manager you are. If you're Wolverhampton Wanderers down the bottom, 1 win in 7 is a problem. If you're Man City, people were talking about Pep.
They are 1 win in 8, by the way.
Yeah, but my point, and Man City fans are asking for Pep to leave. What the best manager in the world right now to leave?
Look at the history he's got.
Do you know what I mean?
They're only stupid fans.
Hang on, but my point, and Man City. My point is, and Pep Guardiola has every bit of credit in the bank that he could lose another 5 games and we will go, hang on. But my point is Ange hasn't earned the credit in the bank yet. He hasn't done anything at Tottenham where I go, okay, you've earned credit in the bank. We're going that way. We're diving downwards. Look, I heard some people go over the top and say we could get relegated. We ain't going to get relegated under this manager. He'll win enough games to stay up. So I'm not worried about that side of things before people start thinking that. The problem I have is I always hear the buzzwords and the rebuilds. And George, I could break down the whole buzzword thing. We drink when there's a buzzword because rebuild and process is all buzzwords. There's no such thing. It's nonsense. It's propaganda and nonsense. It's bollocks. Sorry I don't want to swear, but it's rubbish. Where's Liverpool's rebuild? They bring in a new manager. Click, boom, top of the league. Team
that won trophies, though.
Maresca in at Chelsea. Click of a finger. They're flying now.
Not a good example, Perchy. Not a good example.
100% good example.
Horrible example.
No, they're not.
So why is it
Liverpool was a team with 4 or 5 world-class players that had already won the league, won the Champions League, they've won everything.
The manager signed not one player in the summer.
Because that team
I'm with Jords on this one.
They're world-class.
There's not this rebuild.
Van Dijk. They have one of the best players in the league.
The rebuild stuff is nonsense. Sorry, man, it's nonsense. We've got a good enough squad right now to not be where we are. We should not be losing 7 games in 15 games.
But Perchy, to go and use Liverpool and Chelsea as examples here was not good.
I'm not comparing them to Tottenham. Hang on, I'm not comparing them to Tottenham because so many people in this. It's fun because I stay consistent with everything I say. In the summer, people going, we're finishing above Liverpool, new manager, then they're in a rebuild, they've got to start again. I went, nah, Liverpool are going to be flying. Everyone was saying, we're going to batter Chelsea this season, we're going to be above them. They're all over the place last season. They're up there. Like, my point is when we hear about, the new manager, I heard it about Man United, they're in a crisis, they're 2 points behind us. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're in a crisis in there too. They sacked their manager and brought in a new one. Like my point is, I'm diverting for a reason there on that point. But my point is, have we got players good enough to be higher in the league? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Detrex said he predicted us to finish 10th. So Dan said he predicted us to finish 8th. We're 11th.
Do you know where I predict? Do you know where I predicted us to finish? I said we'll finish 6th or 7th this season because we haven't got the depth in squad at the start of the season, and Europe, I think we will do okay in Europe. I said we'll get as far as probably a quarter final. Same maybe in the cups as well. We'll get that level of distance into it, give or take 1 or 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So I said we'll finish 6th because we haven't got a big enough squad at the start of the season. But my point is, does anyone think that we would be losing 7 games in the first 15? Seriously, at the start of the season, did any of us think we'd be losing 7
I don't
games?
think anyone would have thought that much. And just before I leave,
so from that metric, we are underperforming. I think that's understandable, right?
I think the underperformance has context, and I think again that with the underperformance, like you guys have predicted, 6th, 7th, 8th, and I think Dan gave a good explanation. If he thinks that his prediction was based off the manager, then bang on, cool, that's fine. But the way that I look at this is, for one, you said 15 games into the season, we still got 23 left. He can most definitely turn this around. I think you have to give a manager time to be able to see them turn it around. And until you said there's no such thing as a rebuild, there definitely is. You see rebuilds at lots of teams. And yes, there is sometimes when a manager's underperforming, you bring a new manager in, they could take a team to a new level. But as we've seen under Conte, you can take a team to the next level temporarily just before you start to see the level of those players, the Dyers, the Llorises, who looked good for 6 months and then went back to their same old selves that next season. So what I do think is once you give Ange the time to actually get through this period, we're going to come out a better side squad. We're going to come out a better side mentally because as we've seen over the past, based on the fact that I think the reason our mentality as a club with these players has been so poor is that these players have been backed to the point that every time there is poor performance, there's a poor stint like this, who does it fall on? Oh, the manager, let's sack the manager. Let's sack the manager. Let's sack the manager. The ownership has done this for 10, 15 years. At what point are you going to give a manager time to actually build and get through that stint? Because no manager is ever going to be able to...
George.
No manager is going to... Come on, wait, Perchy. No manager, if they're not given that chance to get over that hill, they're not going to be able to make a big thing at this club, because unless you succeed in 18 months, as we can see with the fan base, as you can see with the ownership, it's like, oh, you're not good enough. 18 months isn't even long. It's not a long enough
George,
time for turn around the club.
Detrex, can I just ask one question? Sorry, mate.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Just a quick question. What? Yes or no? Did you want Nuno to be sacked?
Did I? I didn't want him in the first place. So yeah.
So, but where was he given time?
Nuno wasn't given time.
He was given it for what, 3 months? 4 months?
But the thing is, we all know what happened with Nuno. We didn't want Nuno in the first place, and we just ended up with Nuno. So he wasn't given the time until we saw a better manager was available in Conte.
Statistically, he's doing a better job than Ange Postecoglou. Is that not a concern?
He had half of the amount of games. We're not going to compare them statistically. Come on.
Nuno
is when someone played half the amount of games. That percentages don't work like that. You can't do that.
Why is Nuno doing a better job than Ange Postecoglou with Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, he is.
He's doing an amazing job with Forest.
He looks good at Forest. That's the same way he looked good at Wolves, and then he came to us and look at our. You talk about tactics, Perchy.
But is that not the same as the same argument about backing Ange? Because Ange hasn't done anything in his career at the big time, at the big level. Ange hasn't done anything at the big time.
Has Ange not got the best 11 since Poch?
Thank you.
I think it's debatable to say. I think the Conte team.
Tell me one who had a better one.
Conte's
Conte did not have a better team. No, that's not.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I think at the point Conte had a good team. As I did say, the players over exceeded their performance levels and eventually went back to what we thought they were and were pretty trash. But let's be honest, Ange Postecoglou has a decent team. He hasn't got an amazing team. A lot of these players are just there, like consumers and stuff. They're not good enough to start.
He had Kane and a half decent Son. He had bloody Longley, Davis, Sanchez.
How many of those players did Mourinho won? I'm sorry, Conte won. Not Mourinho.
Yeah,
Conte.
But look what Conte did. Look what Conte did. He adapted to what he had and got the most out of it. And he had a 10 times worse team than we have got now. If I gave you the option of Sanchez and Longley as your two defenders, or you got Van der Ven and Romero, who are you picking? If I give you the options of your wing backs, who are you picking out of what we had and what we got now? Midfield, the only one you'll change up there probably is Johnson.
We all know the biggest difference between that team and that's it. Kane was a world-class player. We don't have no world-class players.
No two ways about it.
And we also have a much worse Son than Conte had.
But come on, just admit this. Did Conte not adapt to the team he had to get him into?
But I also think, was there not
times...
I also remember, Dan, I know you remember that as well, when we were playing against Chelsea and we were losing 2-0. What's he do? Bring on Davinson Sanchez, Ryan Sessegnon. Oh, let's go 6 or 7 at the back. So there's just as many times where you're looking at Conte and saying tactically, he wasn't all there.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there. I won't sit there and protect Conte. I didn't like him at Tottenham. I thought there was a lot of problems in. But what I will say, I do agree though that has Ange been backed at Spurs? Yes or no?
I don't believe so.
We spent 400 million pounds on him.
Come on, man. Kulusevski.
The money would say yes. The players would
Kulu.
The money, Kulu was already done.
No, Dan, that's
Kulu was
wrong.
already done.
No,
going to happen.
Kulu was an option.
Hang on.
No, but that was going to happen.
The manager said Kulu is in my plans. He came out and said Kulusevski. I've agreed to get Kulu in.
That was going to happen anyway. That one. I don't count that one person. Go on, mate. Take care.
George, man. Absolutely, man.
Good one.
Much love, man.
Yeah, the Kulu one, I think that was going to happen anyway, yeah? That one I can't count. But the rest of it, he said he's picked the players. He said he's picked the players, basically, and the money he's had spent on him is more than any manager has at Spurs. But then you look at it on the player side, you would say he hasn't been backed. But then did he pick these players? This is where the question comes into it. This is where my man, I don't feel he's very good when it comes to talking because he does too bloody much of it. And he has taken all the pressure off of Levy, put it all on his own back, put even more pressure on his own back, that basically this can all go tits up and Levy can just sit there and go,
yeah. He talks too much, this manager. Dan, I agree with you on that point. I think he needs sometimes... Do you know what I always hear? Always the retort to that is, oh, well, he's obviously saying what Levy says. You don't have to say it, right? Like people go, oh, what do you want him to do? What Conte did? No, there is a balance, right? Sometimes you can be,
Just say
I always
nothing.
call it, sometimes you can always be Switzerland, right? I always use that terminology. You can be Switzerland. You can be in the middle, be neutral and just go, yeah, there was a team of us and we as a collective signed these players have come through a collective. Like, you don't have to sit there and say, oh, Daniel Levy bought me all these players. They're all crap. I don't want them. You don't have to say that. But you can also just say, yeah, this was what, as a team, we've decided this is who we're going with. Like,
And just to add on George's point when he said that this is a project we have to wait, give him time. If he showed me that he can manage, change his tactics, and not be stubborn, I would back him. But we don't know. First year he bought Madison, he bought Vicario, he bought really well-known players. Vicario was not a mug. He was a big-name goalkeeper in Italy. But then the second season, he's like, you know what? Let me forget about this. Let me buy youngsters. Like, which one is it? Is it a project or is it or do you want to build a team to challenge the league? Which one is it? And he even said,
mentioned.
and sorry, and one more thing. He even said this is a project, but usually projects takes 3 to 5 years. He even said, I don't stay more than 3 years in a club.
he's never
Those are
stayed
his
at a club
words.
he's never stayed at a club for more than 3 years.
No,
So
but
which one
that's
is
what
it?
Detrex is basically saying. And plus, it was my second season. I usually win things. Okay, he didn't say we are going to win something. But when you go to a team as cup thirsty, silver thirsty, whatever you want me to call it, worse than a bloody vampire that hasn't been fed blood for 100 years, and start talking about winning trophies that you usually do it, and I want to be competing for a league, to me, that's not a sensible thing to say. You do not go and say that to Tottenham Hotspur supporters.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the stuff the man has said has done himself no favours whatsoever. Now, I get that he's got his little notebook on the side. Basically, he's Levy's little bitch, same as a lot have been, and he gets told, right, I want you to say this, this, and this. So he goes and says certain things his way. But then what the man goes and does, instead of just saying this, this, and this, he says this, this, and this. And then he says that, and that. And I'm surprised the man's even got feet left. He must be a Terminator. He shot himself in the foot so many times, he might as well do the back of his head. He has done himself no bloody favours whatsoever. He really hasn't. And in this aspect, do I feel sorry for him? Yes, I do in a way, because I don't... A lot of this comes down to the sheer fact. A lot of it does come down to, I think, of a lot of what he has said. If he wouldn't have said half of what he said, and he would have only just said what he's been told to say as such, with adding a little bit on there, I don't think the fans would be sweating half as bad as they are now. Yes, we'd all be pissed with the situation, but it's like, well, hang on a minute, mate. You said we do this. You said we do that. You said you signed them. He even said that last week. You said he's made all these quotes, and people are being now what? What is now being respectable? To me, respect, bollocks. Something you go and earn. I'll give common courtesy to anybody. You want respect, you bloody earn it. Two different things to me. But I'm going to show the manager, common courtesy now. But I know managers that they've got to keep their cool, they've got to keep their job. But I'm going to take his word for it when he says, I did this, I did that, I want to do this, I want to do that, when none of that was put on a book to him. Or do I just turn around and say, oh, when people say, yeah, but he has to say all of that. Okay, so he's just Levy's little bitch then. What one is he? What has he done? Or has he done too much of it? I just think he's said too much and done himself up like a kipper.
Dan, do you know what? I agree with you. I think this guy doesn't. Sometimes I just want him to stop talking. Like, you don't need to sort of virtue signal to the fan base that everything's great. We can see 1 win in 7 is not good. And it's not good. Like, sitting there saying things are going to get better. They're just words to me. Like, sometimes you just want a normal manager to come in and go, we're in a rut. We need to kill the rot, stop the rot at this football club at the moment, and get a result. We're defensively making mistakes. I'm going to sort that out in training. That's my job. We will fix it up. I don't expect a manager to throw players under the bus. I don't need it. I expect him to be losing his absolute bollocks off with him in the dressing room. We don't need to hear that. That's not our business. That's for them to deal with. I don't expect him to throw people under the bus, but when he talks to us, it's what we hear is, "Oh, I'm not going to change anything." He said we were good on the weekend. Let that sink in. Like, what are you watching? We were awful in that second half.
So the rubbish. Look, this is my take on it. Look, I ain't spoke for a while. This is my take on it. So look, I can understand many fans not wanting the manager out, because they see it as Groundhog Day, changing manager after manager. But this is how I see it. At the end of the day, it's a results business, right?
Great.
And we're slipping down that league, right? We're 11th at the moment. West Ham win in the next couple of games, they'll go above us. All right, this is ridiculous now. Ridiculous. They're talking about sacking the West Ham manager the other week. Look, there are worse squads with the teams above us with lower budgets, and they're above us in the league. You don't need me to name who. Forest, Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham. They're all above us. It's just not working right now. And I just think Ange's system is flawed. Too many teams work us out. We're so easy to play against. Anybody could rock up at our ground and beat us. And the form is dropping off week in, week out. And the biggest thing for me is Ange's refusal to change anything. He's just open and saying, "I'm not going to change, and this is it." So if this is what it is, Ange, you're not going to be in the job much longer.
Yeah, I agree. It's madness.
I mean, he's done himself no favours, and the fact that the man even stands there and refuses to get pragmatic, and then we go and draw a game like Roma, who I did warn everybody, they are no mugs. They're just having a very poor season. They got some players significantly better than what we got, and 90% of people turn around and say, "Oh, shut up, they're crap." Just shows how much people don't follow other leagues. And true. Roma scored us in that second half, basically. And in some aspects, we was lucky it wasn't more than 2-2. And then he comes off after that and says things about how it's more about entertainment. It needs to be entertainment. I mean, seriously, what is this man on? I have never, ever heard a manager talk like that after a game that he should be winning. Don't worry about the game. It's about entertainment. Or we didn't make the subs because we didn't deserve points out of that game. Mate, what are you talking about? Get your act together. Seriously, what is he like? He does himself no favours. And sooner or later, what I think is going to happen is Levy's going to hang on to him until round about the end of January. And if things don't improve by then, which I don't think they're going to improve, he's going to say, "Do you know what, mate? Baked potato, see you later. You're gone." And then we got Ryan Mason, whoever we got, and I don't think Ryan Mason would basically do a worse job than this, if I'm going to be honest.
Can't be any worse, can it?
And with that, I think the reason it'd be the end of January he gets rid of him, because then Levy can turn around to all of us and say, "Well, I hung on to the manager and the project for as long as I could, but I just didn't want to put any more money into it because I was losing faith in him. And, well, everyone wants him out as well. He's had to go, and Levy's spent no extra bloody money."
Isn't that like a sad indictment of the club, though, that as fans, we are almost like Mason would probably do a better job than Ange Postecoglou. I mean, since City, we have been outplayed by Roma, we've been outplayed by Fulham, we've been outplayed by Bournemouth, and we've been outplayed by Chelsea.
Along with getting outplayed by Coventry as well, for God's sake, and
we're probably going to get
lucky to get that.
Yeah, we're probably going to get outplayed by Rangers and then Southampton, Liverpool and Forest our next 3 games.
Rangers is going to be a violent game. They have got a problem with him. They don't like him. It's personal. That is going to be a nasty place to go.
100%. But do you know what my worry is with all of this? I think we are at Groundhog Day. This is where Daniel Levy has to make one of 2 decisions. This is the stick or twist now for him. The owner and the chairman has to make a decision now, because he can't do it in a month's time. In a month's time, we could be out of all of our competitions in a month's time. This is stick or twist. My point why I say that is you go, if you sack him now, we're going to bring in, I'll use Graham Potter for this conversation. Insert any manager, I don't care. We're going to bring in Graham Potter whilst we're still in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Europa League, right? If he sacks him in a month's time, we could be out of both. We could be out of both domestic trophies. By the way, I expect us to beat Tamworth. I expect even Ange Postecoglou. I expect to beat Tamworth, right? But my point is people will go, well, you've got to give this manager a chance in the cups that he's got us there. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Chelsea sacked. Who was it they sacked and then brought in Di Matteo? I'm on the Champions League with him. Like, my point is the chairman has to make that decision right now. He either has to do it, the vote of confidence, which we've heard that before, and then 2 weeks later he's lost his job, and then you stick with him for the rest of the season and then make a decision at the end of the season, or you get rid of him, get someone in now, new manager bounce, potentially could beat Man United next week, and then get further in the FA Cup. But I think it's got to be stick or twist now. There's none of this in the middle crap. If you don't make the decision, stick with them to the end of the season, because the season's over anyway.
Look at the stats. They're damning, aren't they, on the screen? Yeah. 1 win in 7, 4 away wins in 12 months, 9 home defeats in 12 months, 41% win rate since that Chelsea game last November, on my days. 7 defeats in 15 away games. Only bottom 3 have more. 19 defeats in 12 months. 1 point from 9 in December. He now has a worse win percentage than Nuno, AVB and Sherwood, and 12 defeats in the last 22 games. Wow.
Do you know what it was? For me, Dan? It was 1 clean sheet in 22 home games.
That's
shocking.
It's not acceptable.
Shocking.
I mean, what is it? 140 shots we've conceded in 7 games?
Had that one on as well.
Would you have Tim Sherwood right now on a serious level? Would you, if you went, I'd have Tim Sherwood in. I don't know what it is. I get it. I've always put it into 3 buckets, and I've said it on my show a lot. If people watch me and stuff, they'll know I say this all the time. You've got the ones that love Ange, that want him to stay no matter what. We could get battered 10-0 and they'll still want this guy. It will never be the manager's fault. You've got ones that, on the other end, that want this guy gone. They don't like him. They want it. As a manager, I'm not personally, they don't like him as a manager. They want him gone. I think we've got a massive load in that middle bit that don't really like this guy, but they just don't want to sack another manager. Bury the head in the sand. And that unfortunately is not how life works. I'm sorry to break it to people. That's not how life works. If I'm not very good at my job, they don't sit there and go. They don't sit there and say, "Oh well, we don't want to go sack him and go through the hiring process of another guy." I'm out of the door, and they go and hire somebody else, right?
That's because a lot of fans, though, Perchy, are like, we don't want another rebuild, but it's not a rebuild, is it? 'Cause we got nucleus of a good squad down.
But
that wouldn't be a rebuild.
But it hasn't got to be a rebuild. Just because you change the manager, it hasn't got to be a new restart and everything and that. No, you just go and get a manager that can work with the process that you're doing.
That was my argument earlier when I used the Liverpool argument. Liverpool didn't Klopp didn't go, and then they go, well, we've got to get 12 players out and then bring 12 new ones in. They brought in a manager.
But the job the manager had there was a lot easier than any manager coming to Spurs. Look at the quality of their players compared to ours, same as Chelsea.
Yeah,
I get your point, but I just don't think they're a good example.
No, but I'm not using them on parallels to Tottenham. They're not parallels. Liverpool have got a better squad than us, but the rule still applies. My point
they bought no one.
But they bought in Chiesa. That's my point. My point is that was my point.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Liverpool and Spurs are on the same level. I'm saying the argument is still the same. You don't have to sack a manager and bring a new one in and then replace the squad and go again. That's not how it works. Fran's right. The rebuild is a myth. It's a buzzword that is used in football now to basically say, "Oh well, we've just got to go again." No, that's nonsense. You get in a good manager. It doesn't have to. I'm not talking about a great manager. A good manager identifies what we've got and goes, "Hang on, we've got 3 relatively good centre halves. We've got 3 good centre halves. We can play them. Wing backs that are strong wing backs, decent, relatively decent midfield, and a decent attacking lineup. We can build, right?
But the
Is all
only
we
thing I
need
will
is-
say to the fans is that I understand why a lot of fans feel that way, because as a club, we have gone from negative manager who plays defensive football to attacker manager to negative manager. What we've got to do now is if Ange goes, which hopefully will, we need to bring another manager in that plays attacking football, that's going to get the best out of it, and not bring a pragmatic manager in.
No,
And
we
we'll be
need to
back
bring in a
square one.
manager. We need a manager that can do both. At the
Yeah.
moment, if you
Bang
want to
on.
be tactically correct here, yeah, and this is going to sound sickening, yeah, if you want to be tactically right here, from how I see it, Southgate would do a better job with these players than Ange would, because
Oh, 100%.
these players, what they are best at doing is more to Southgate style than
I
it is
agree.
to Ange style. And I'm not saying Southgate's a good
Yeah.
manager.
You have to
or I want
caveat
him.
that on YouTube because everyone
But-
will say you want
yeah,
Southgate now.
But by going by the
Never put that.
tactics they play, they actually suit Southgate's tactics
I
more than
agree.
his. This team is best at a counter-attacking or counter-pressing team, of soaking up a bit of pressure and then getting the ball up there, direct in the goal. And people were complaining, saying that Ange ball is boring, this and that, and Ange ball, the Conte ball, Mourinho ball is boring and that. Yeah, when you ain't got the right players to do it, any football can look crap. We've got the right players to do it and look good. Look how they did it against City twice. Look how they did it against Villa. Look how we've done it against other teams when we've actually been the ones who have been forced to sit back more, not use that idiot inverted wing back, both at the same time, and leaving the 2 centre backs there on their Jack Jones or up on the halfway line. That's kamikaze suicidal on its own. That's going to open anybody up. You get this team steady and you get a manager who's got an idea how to adapt game by game, you can get this team further. But at this moment in time,
100%.
the team we've got, Conte would absolutely be drilling it with this lot, I think. He'd be having a field day. I mean, you look how he plays, you look at what we've got, it suits him down to a T. And for me to turn around and say that I think Southgate's tactics has worked better with this team just about says it all on what I think of Ange. I just don't think he's got it. Call it a personal opinion, but he's done nothing to prove me wrong yet. I don't think the man has got it. Not the
Detrex,
English Premier League.
Detrex, I haven't heard from you for a while. Anything you want to give to this debate?
Honestly, like I'll just be repeating myself, but Dan, like me and Dan speak the same way on this guy.
Okay.
I don't think nothing's gonna change, and to be honest with you, for me, I would wish if we get a manager like Gasperini from Atalanta. Those are the kind of managers I want to see. I want to see someone that plays wing backs, that knows when to attack, who knows when to defend, and isn't Levy's little bitch. When he's not happy, he's gonna call it out as it is. And look at his team.
Should we just touch on that quickly now about Ange and if we did get a replacement? Look, number one, when do you think that's going to happen, everyone? If results if we keep losing, and number two, who would you have? Just give us maybe a top 3. I mean, Detrex, you said one already.
Sorry, could you repeat? Sorry.
Yeah, so obviously Ange could be out of a job soon if the results continue to decline. So you've said one name as a manager. Do you want to give a couple more that you'd be happy to come in to manage this team, and then we'll go around the panel?
For me, as long as you're a winner, I'm gonna back you. So if, let's say, for example, we get, do you know the Bournemouth manager? I'm gonna be the Bournemouth manager out. For me, you have to be a proven winner. So
Okay.
anyone that's won like a European or a league title, I'm gonna back you.
Okay.
But if it's like Thomas Frank and all this nonsense that I hear from other people, I'm gonna be manager out.
Okay, fair enough. Perchy?
I think when we say proven winner, for me, that isn't going to work anyway. So I'll completely disagree with Detrex on that. But for me, I'd have Michel Sanchez at Girona. I'd have Claudio Guedes, who plays at Celta Vigo. If you want to watch good football, go and watch Celta Vigo play this season. Amazing football. I'd have someone like him, 34-year-old young manager. That's someone I would go, do you know what? Let's give him a go. I'd have Iriola. I think he's a good manager. I'd have Thomas Frank. I think he's a good manager. I'd go over to Brighton and nab their manager. I think he's a good manager. There's good managers out there that we should be getting. Look, I don't think there's any point us getting a top manager. I don't see the point because let's be fair. I think you just got, for us, you've got to go down and get. You've got to go and get a manager that will be able to adapt and mold to what we've got. When people talk about the old Arteta thing, if you want to go down that route, you kind of go and get a young sort of manager and build from that if you have to, whatever buzzword you want to use. I'd have any of those. Look, when do I think he'll go? I think he'll be gone in February. I think the manager will sack, the owners will sack, the chairman will sack him.
That late, Perchy. Why February?
Because we'll be out of every competition then.
But that's too late.
Oh, no. Not what I want. If it's me, sack him now. Get him gone. He's crap. This guy's awful. Sack him right now.
But is there a chance that he goes after the Southampton if we lose that game?
Potentially. We're not losing to Southampton, though. I know that sounds mad. We're not losing them. They are awful. If we lose to them, then if we do lose to Southampton, then sack him. Yeah, 100%. I mean, they are crap. Like crap. Like if he loses the next two games, he should be sacked 100%. Like, you can't.
I wanted to look at this tonight. Just go over the next few games and actually look where those wins are coming from because I'm struggling. Other than Southampton away, I mean, we've got a massive cup game next week, haven't we, against Man U? I mean, there's a lot of games coming. Then we've got Liverpool as well just before Christmas. I mean, look, we'll get into it. Dan, what's your managers you want in?
I mean, well, I'd love to get Inzaghi in here, but that's not going to happen. Atalanta manager, very good, not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we could go for Nagelsmann. He's one who I wanted in the first place because he's a young manager and I feel we can adapt to football on a daily basis. Another manager, Thomas Frank, I wouldn't say no to him. And another one who I would like, but then maybe leave it for a seat till the end of the season. I don't know. I do after my mate pointed out to me, David R, who I do like on my show with at times. That Ipswich manager looks good.
Yeah,
he's adapting. He also knows Spurs very well. He was here long enough. He knows how it works. I want a younger manager, not an older fella that is 60 years old that has never had a decent football job in his life and has only just got his first decent football job now. There's a reason to it. And it's not because he's only been doing it for 10 years. And that is that as far as I'm concerned. And I feel a younger manager can adapt better to modern day football on a daily, gamely basis on what he needs to do.
Can I explain why I'm against having a young manager like the Ipswich and the Bournemouth? Because at least they don't have the pressure of the club. They have good scouts and they know how to buy players. And the players are going to listen to them. Unfortunately, we have divas at Spurs. So you need a Conte, you need someone that can intimidate them. That's the only way it's going to work.
I understand that.
And you saw under Conte, everyone went from 0 to 100 miles an hour.
Look, let's big up Mark. Mark, how are you doing, mate?
How's it going, mate? Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Have you been on YouTube before, mate?
Once, I think, on Stills. Once.
Well, nice to meet you, mate.
Not really my thing, mate. Not really my thing. I love listening, but it's not really my thing.
So what's brought you on the show today? Have you got anything to tell us? Anything you want to give your say on Spurs right now? Fire away, mate.
No, I just think all these people with Daniel Levy and with what's going on, I think he will only be sacked, the manager, when it affects Daniel Levy's pocket. I don't think he's going anywhere unless we don't get any form of Europe. I think if he don't get a form of Europe or looking like he's going to be in Europe, then they will get rid of him.
If the fans turn and rattle Levy a little bit, he'll go as well. In that aspect, Levy folds quite easy.
Yeah, but I think of what you got to look at as well is if it affects his back pocket all the time through the years. If you look of when it affects his pocket, he will get rid of them. He will get
Oh,
rid of him.
100%.
It's a business, Dan. It's a business.
100%. Oh, I know that. Yeah, that's why I say I don't want to go into that one. Yeah, but when it also starts getting that little Levy out in the stadium,
Yeah.
that is when he usually acts and gets rid of the manager, brings something in to shut up a degree of fans so that the Levy out doesn't spread to outside the stadium, and he just manages to stop it, to silence a few people, where it brings the noise down. And it starts again. So as soon as the Levy out gets louder and the fans start saying, "Oh, we want Ange out," and it starts showing more and more that the fans ain't liking him, he'll get rid of him before then. But with what you're saying, the minute the money's going out the window, that is the other
They
one.
will, mate. It will. When
It's
it
both.
affects their
You're right.
pockets, it's a
You're right.
business. It's a business, mate.
Totally.
It's both. Of course it is. Yeah.
And
It's
they're not
both
going
of
to
them.
sell. I've heard about this selling thing. They ain't going to sell, mate. I said this on Stell's channel
Going nowhere. They're
about
going
18
nowhere.
months ago. These geezers ain't going to sell because the reason why they got hotels going up. There's probably an American, as you said, I've seen you on Stells, where there's probably an American franchise of what's coming as well with the NFL regarding that. But these people are proper businessmen, mate. They ain't going nowhere, mate. These people.
Mark, bang on. Then they're going nowhere.
They're
I think
going nowhere.
I think we have to be. I think we have to be really honest with that. That whether we're not, we're.
Listen.
The
The
moment-
wild man always says that there's 100,000 people or something on the waiting list. So if I give up my ticket, you give up yours, or whatever, who's ever got a season ticket, there's someone to take your place.
But do you
don't
know
worry
what?
about that.
The waiting list is even equally more irrelevant than ever now.
Yeah.
Because the stadium is packed every game. I know that people will go, but they sell so much crap now.
Listen,
they fall so much stuff down.
I've been going Spurs, years and years, but since I was a little kid, but when they moved into the new ground, you see a transgression of fans, like transitioning of fans. So there's still a lot of hardcore who go, but there's a lot of fans now who I think are not the hardcore. I've got to word this right as I get in trouble, but there's not the working class kind of fan who goes. They just want to go for a pint and a burger and have a day out with the kids and family, which is good.
I call it the gentrification of football. That's what it is. It's the gentrification of football. Whereas before it was the working man would go to the football no matter what, whatever happens. Now it's a load of people going out for their mates, go down to the shop, buy it, win, lose or draw. We'll have a pint and we'll all have a party and we'll all go. That's what's happened now. Look, that
been priced out. You've been priced out.
Yeah, 100%. It's now become it's now priced at a day out than priced as we're going out of the football.
Yeah, it is. It is, unfortunately.
Mark, who would you like to have in as manager?
You know, mate, I've commented on your thing. I'd have Graham Potter, mate, all day long.
I remember that.
I wouldn't say
all day long. I would give him. I would give that man a interim contract to the end of the season. See how he goes. If it don't go well, it's gone shit. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. But I can't see what arm it's going to do in rolling at the dice again. I can't see what arm it can do because it ain't getting better under him.
Yeah, I agree as well, mate.
We have regressed in 18 months under this man. We have regressed in 18 months, and that squad is capable, I believe, of 5th to 7th place, maybe knocking on the door for a Champions League place, maybe a punching above our weight. It's a good enough squad.
Yeah, agreed. Can I give my name for who I'd want as Spurs manager? You probably know this, Dan, already. I want Terzic as Spurs manager, the ex-Dortmund manager. I think he'd be brilliant. I think he's a young manager, plays attacking football. But there's also this other manager that I've seen who's really good. Apparently, he's just won a trophy with Everton. Perchy. He might be Villa manager now.
Villa, mate. Nah, man. Nah, look, mate. Look, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is though with it all? Like, I think what we have to do. I think what people miss on it all. It's always the idea is the question is who comes into Tottenham and wins. I don't think anyone comes into Tottenham and 6 wins consistently at Tottenham. Doesn't matter who you are. You could bring in. We brought in the big boys, the Contes and the Joses, and that didn't work.
Okay.
For
So
me,
what's the point of getting rid of Angel?
It's never been a club like that, though. It's never been a
That's someone
club like that.
normal in charge.
but when we say get rid of Ange, like there is also a balance, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
equally a team that shouldn't be losing every week to Ipswich and stuff. Like,
Agreed.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Agreed.
I don't think any manager comes in and goes, click of a finger, bring in this, and we're going to go and we're going to win a title.
Agreed.
But let's be fair, we could bring in a manager, a Graham Potter. We use Graham Potter. I use that as an example earlier. And Mark,
I'd take him.
Graham Potter, you could bring in. Graham Potter could nick us a cup. He could nick us a cup, an FA Cup here and there. But I think that's the key bit, bro. I think for me, I've said all along now, a successful season for Tottenham this year is to go a month unbeaten. Like, just go a month unbeaten. I'll take that now this season. That's how low the standard is. Go a month unbeaten. Like, who like that? But it is what it is, right? But nothing really will change at this football club. We can talk about Daniel Levy, all this lot. As Mark said, Mark was bang on with it. Going nowhere. He's going nowhere,
mate.
and he's going nowhere anywhere fast. Anytime fast is he going. He'll be here for a very, very long time. They build a monster.
And look, very, very good businessman, very shrewd businessman. He probably goes into them meetings thinking, I'm the man here. I'm the man. Like, clubs would love to do what he done. They would love to do what he done.
Yeah.
Love to do what he done. But listen, not all bad. He's built a brand new training ground. He's built a brand new stadium, £1 billion stadium. It's not all bad.
No, business-wise, he has been brilliant.
He's the man.
Football manager side, he's probably the best on the planet, business-wise.
Yeah.
For what he has made Spurs into. But the problem is, there's no balance with him as such. He just wants that money side. And right, I've got to shoot. And I've got one more thing I'll say on that. And what you said, Mark, there. It's London, mate. You never know what's around the corner. And Bitcoins, and Bitcoins can't be traced.
Yeah, it's true, mate.
So, Dan, Nigel, thanks for having me on, mate. It's much appreciated. And I'll catch up with you soon. See you later, everybody. Detrex, I'll speak soon, mate.
Take care, brother. Bye.
Cheers. People, make sure you go and subscribe to Dan's channel, please, everyone, in the chat if you ain't already. Oh, right, guys, where should we take this now for the rest? I'm going to go probably for another half hour. Let's have a look at the Rangers match. Anybody been following Rangers, seen how they've been playing? Anybody know much about them? How they've been getting on? Obviously, they're not top of the league, are they, at the moment? Celtic are, so...
Aren't they getting, like, absolutely battered
They find a bit of form in there. They won they won 4-1 in the Europa League, then they won 6-0 in the league.
Oh yeah, they beat Kilmarnock 6-0. Like, where are they at the moment in the league? They're third in the league. They are 11 points off Celtic.
11?
Yeah, they're a bit down there.
They're behind Aberdeen.
Let's be honest.
I think that's a tough game. I think that's a tough game, man. I think that's a hard.
We're away in Europe. It's tough.
Any game's tough, Mark. Any game's tough.
It shouldn't be, but it really is, isn't it? Though that's the concern, right? It shouldn't be, but it really is.
It's a must-win game as well, though.
I actually agree. I think it is must-win, and the thing is I said all along, Europa League, we should have been walking that group. The group of players that we had should be walking that. We should be comfortably finishing that top 8 with the players that we've got.
Yeah.
But if you don't beat Rangers, whether or not those last 2 games, where we should be beating Hoffenheim and Elfsborg, but if you don't win the Rangers game, the pressure is really on those, because you don't want to be in that playoff, because that playoff could be a problem.
I think the pressure's on his next 3 games. I think you look at the Thursday night, he's got to go up to Scotland, then he's got to go Southampton, and then you've got the quarter-final of the Cup. If he gets rolled in all 3 of them, then surely his head's got to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Mark. Is anybody confident winning on Thursday? This Detrex, what about you, mate? What do you think?
With these tactics and knowing him, he's gonna go there with an ego trying to be Rangers. I think we're gonna draw or either lose this game. Because to be honest, I just looked at the stats and Rangers, honestly, offensively, they're not bad.
Who've they got up front? Anybody good? Any got any decent players?
Yeah, there's 2 guys. It was sorry, give me a second. I'll just bring it up.
Can't say I followed them. I know they're
Yeah,
goalies.
it's his name is Danilo, Cerny, and
Yeah,
Igaman. Their front three, they know how to score goals.
Okay.
And what's our biggest weakness? Down the wings. So it's going to
Yeah.
be perfect for them.
Who's he going to play? Who's he going to play?
Well, he's going to have to play Bentancur. He's going to have to play
Yeah.
Basuma now because Basuma's suspended. So
Yeah.
let's be fair. If we're going to build our team back, like it's going to be Fraser Forster's going to have to go and goal.
Oh,
Does he play Pedro Porro? I think he goes Archie Gray. Then at
Archie
back,
Gray had to play centre back, wouldn't he?
well, Dragishin will then
that
come
geezer-
in.
He's been dragged in every position, though, isn't he, Archie Gray? Every position he's been
Then
dragged in.
Ben Davis is
Surely
injured. That
He's
midfield
not
will
going to
have to
risk
be
Van der Ven.
midfield. Well, I doubt he plays Van der Ven, so I don't know what he does in the back four. I think he might go. You could be right. Porro, Dragishin, Gray, a doggy maybe. Bentancur, Basuma is going to have to be his two in midfield. Then you look going forward. He didn't play Madison. He didn't start Madison against
probably
Chelsea. So surely Madison starts.
Yeah.
Does he go Solanke? Does he go Lancashire? I'll be honest, I'm at the stage now where he can't risk playing like the likes. Well, no, Lancashire's suspended, isn't he? Or is he back now?
No, he's back.
He's back.
He was only on one game suspension, wasn't it? Right.
Mm.
So I look at it and go. I think he'll go and play Lancashire. I have a feeling he starts with Lancashire, and you go, "Whoa, what are you doing here, man? You need to win this game. This is crucial now."
It's a must win. It's a must
Because
win.
you put
So
the
we
pressure
go
on.
as long as possible. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
He's gonna have.
it's a
He's
must
gonna
win.
have to.
Yeah.
He's put himself in this situation to go because he didn't go full strength against Galatasaray, which he was balmy.
Lost that 10.
Not
One game we
10-2.
should have gone full strength.
That game you've got to go full strength, and Galatasaray you've got to go to Turkey full strength. Because I said if you can get the results right, I always say look, 16 points is your glory mark. That's where you want to get to. That qualifies you in the top 8. We're on, I want to say 10 points. Am I right?
We had 2 wins, a draw, 2
9, I
draws,
think.
isn't it?
We're on 9.
Yeah, 10. Yeah,
No.
9, isn't it?
yeah, 10. Yeah,
10 because we got the
Three
draw.
wins and a
We
draw.
got the draw against
Yeah.
Rover, didn't we? So
Yeah.
we're on
Yeah,
10
10
points.
points.
So you've got to win 2 of the next 3. And my point is if you don't beat Rangers, you have to win the last 2. That is a must. Otherwise, you don't qualify in the top 8. By the way, 16 points isn't guaranteed, but it averages about the right sort of point score you want to get.
The thing is, the Rangers game, they're going to be up for it. Is because
100%.
Ain't we forgetting saying this manager's won stuff in their arch
Celtic,
rivals.
innit?
You know,
Yeah.
what I mean?
Not
yeah, that's what I
ideal,
mean.
is it?
They're going to
Not
be
ideal.
They're going to be bang up for it.
Yeah.
it.
I agree.
Mm.
I think I don't know. Do you know? I feel like that most time. I don't really know what to predict because the way we play. Like, let's be fair. I use the Spursy tag. We lose to Ipswich at home and then beat Man City away. I mean, that is the most polar opposite results you'll see from a Tottenham team. Could I see us go into Rangers and winning 4-0? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I see us going to Rangers and losing 2-1? Yeah. So it is literally one or the other. Like we could win, lose, anything. It's
I
mad.
don't even have confidence like that now at the moment. The form we're in, I can't see us beating anyone. Honestly, we are so bad right now. You know, so bad. I mean, I think possibly a draw at best. To be honest, I just think we're a mess.
But does this manager? This is the sort of result, by the way. The next 2 games are the sort of results that protects this manager. By the way, this is how he stays in a job.
I think he's got 3 games. I think. And
No, but my point is the next 2, right? Rangers and Southampton are the sort of. My point is you know when we always go, he's going to get sacked the next game.
Yeah, but
the
then
next
he goes,
game, if he loses, and then he goes and wins a couple, then we lose a couple, and then it's like this roller coaster, right? I've always said it's like this roller coaster. The next 2 are the sort of games he goes and wins, and then we go, everyone that sort of wants his manager to stay goes, well, there you go. Look, we're winning games again. And then we calm down, and then we lose in the cup quarterfinals to Man United. Then we play, I want to say Liverpool next, Yeah.
Yeah,
So we lose,
22nd,
then
yeah,
we lose the
22nd.
next two. Then it's someone's going to shout it name.
Forest away.
Forest away is a sort of, we get a point away at Forest, and it is that little roller coaster where this
Going up and
manager
down,
this
up and
manager
down,
just does enough to stay in a job. Does that make sense? Like,
I'll be honest.
if he goes
I'll
and
be
loses
honest,
the
but
next two, he's gone.
I don't see where we get our next win from. I'm with Dan. I used to be confident in the fact that, yeah, we could win 4-0, we could lose. Now I'm just like, I just don't see where we win. I can't see us winning against Rangers. I can't even see us beating Southampton. That's how.
Oh, we've got to be
bad as
there.
got.
If we don't beat Southampton, then
Yeah,
he
but we
has
said
to
that
go.
about
You don't
we
know,
said that
though.
about
You don't
Palace,
know.
Ipswich.
Yeah, but that Southampton
The
team,
thing is,
they're one of the worst in the league.
the thing with fans is, and you notice it in the ground. So, if we would have beat, I said in the chat, the low caliber teams, say the lesser teams like the
Yeah.
Ipswiches, the Bournemouths, for example. If we would have beat these teams and Palace and that, and then we lost to the Uniteds and the Cities and that, people wouldn't be moaning.
Yeah,
Well, people would be still like, oh, hold on, we still should, but we have lost to the worst teams, but we've beat the better teams, as in such like the Uniteds and the Cities and that, even though they're 14th or whatever in the league, but it's still a top 6 side in my opinion. Like do with who we've beat.
Yeah, no, Mark, I agree. I think we nick a big result and then go and lose 3 or 4 on the bounce.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
it's
we just
mad,
go
isn't it?
down the trajectory, just downwards again.
Do you know what our
spiraling
last three?
downwards.
Do you know what's mad? What our last 3 wins are?
Go on.
Our last
Series.
3 wins this season are Man City twice and Aston Villa. I mean, does
Top
that not
side,
say
top
it all,
side,
right?
yeah.
That's mad. Our last 3 wins are against the best team, I would say, in the country, if not the
Yep.
world,
Yep.
and an Aston Villa team who are brilliant. And they're on a bit of a dipper form at the moment, but they're a very, very good squad. But our losses in that period are Brighton, Palace, Ipswich, Chelsea were in that mix, Bournemouth are in that mix. Like, it's mad. We're such a weird football club.
Right, let's go around and do
Spurs wins,
predictions. Let's go and do predictions for this Rangers game. Let's start with Mark. What do you reckon?
2-2.
2-2. Nige?
I'm trying to be positive. 1-1.
Detrex? What do you reckon? I think you said Jordan.
I hate this manager, so I hope we lose. So I'm gonna predict 3-2 Rangers.
3-2 Rangers, eh?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, because honestly, like, I'm a Spurs fan. I want us to win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But for the better of the team and the future, he needs to go. So I'd rather lose, get him sacked, get someone better, and then improve from there. Because seeing Archie Gray playing center back, right back, left back, other than DM, how can you back this?
No. Yeah. Well, people in the chat as well, give us your predictions. What do you reckon? Rangers, Spurs, let us know. Perchy?
As I say, it could be anything. I'm going to go really, really scrappy 2-1 win.
Yeah.
Where we nick it, like we want a Coventry style result where we nick a result, but we probably don't deserve it.
A dirty win. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Perchy?
Yeah, I think it'll be a real scrappy one. You'll bear in mind you've got 2 ex-Celtic in there, haven't you? Fraser Forster was ex-Celtic, Ange ex-Celtic. I think they'll be up for it. I think it'll be that scrappy kind of game of football. But I think, look, quality on the day, we should be winning. If we don't, then that's a shambles. But yeah.
Look, I think there'll be some goals. Maybe something like 2-2, maybe 3-3, possibly. I think it's just going to be quite open. I think fun game for the neutrals, not for us.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's have a look at the Southampton game now. Southampton, they're rooted bottom of the league. 12 defeats, 1 win. I mean, everybody's beating them. They have got their first win though, so they're not relying on playing us to get their first win, which is good. because we've already given records away to Palace and Ipswich already this season. We don't want to give it a hat-trick. But guys, seriously now, I know things are not good, but surely Southampton away, 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, which is a bit of an unusual time. Yeah, people, give your thoughts on Southampton.
I'll just Southampton. Every time we say we should beat them, but we have a terrible record against them. Like when they were dead last and got relegated, we lost. No, was it a draw? We lost under Conte. When he gave the famous speech. Yes, it was a drew.
3-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, so knowing their manager is gonna probably play a low block, and they're gonna counter us every time. So
how do they play Southampton? Does anyone know? I thought they're quite an attacking team, aren't they? Aren't they?
They play attacking, but when
Quite
it's Spurs,
forward,
they're gonna sit back. Everyone has a blueprint how to beat us, especially the bottom 10 teams.
I agree.
So I think it's gonna be a draw, and unfortunately we don't have killers up top. And Son, you saw how he fell off. Even the midfield is not good enough. So how can we be confident to win this game?
Look, confidence that I'm not confident about any game of football at the moment with this football club. Should we be beating South? I'll say this now. If we do not beat Southampton and Daniel Levy doesn't sack this manager,
I think he'll give him the cup. I think he'll give him the cup.
No. I'll say now. If we don't beat Southampton and this manager is still in a job, then Daniel Levy is neglecting his job as chairman of this football club. It is now. Then I will then not be sitting there talking about Ange anymore. That is on Daniel Levy for keeping this man in the job, because they've won one game this season against Everton. They've won 3 games all season against Cardiff, obviously Everton, and the other one was Stoke. So 2 championship sides. They haven't beat. Their results have been absolutely dire. They got a point at Brighton, not a bad result. They've got a point against Ipswich, drew with Everton in the cup. I mean, they're getting battered left, right, and centre. As I said, that is a sackable offence if you don't beat them. It should have been, by the way, it should have been a sackable offence not beating Ipswich. But these are an absolute mess. So, look, should we win it? Yeah. Will we? It's on Ange Postecoglou, that is, to find a way.
Well, they've lost 4 out of the last 5. A draw in the middle of it. Yeah, terrible form. I mean, who's the team they've beaten this season? Is it Everton?
Everton. They beat Everton 1-0.
Yeah, and Everton's shocking anyway. Everton's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, Everton are all over the place as well this season, by the way.
They went to Brighton and got a draw.
Yeah.
I think
let's be fair. That was by the way, that Everton game was a game where Everton absolutely battered them, by the way. It was one of those nick it 1-0ers, by the way. Everton battered them that. I think I watched the game actually. Everton battered them that day.
You see, when you're saying about the roller coaster of results. Now, if he does beat Rangers on Thursday, then he gets rolled by Southampton. Yeah, it'd be a travesty. But then he wins in the cup against Man United. Then he gets another little go again. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, but I just think I get Mark. I actually get what you're saying. I do get it. Do you give him the cup? Do you give him the cup? But then it's like, as in the opportunity to get there. But I always call it. It's always stick or twist, right? Yeah, you could do that, but if you could twist it and get another manager in, they could win that semi-final and then win a final and maybe win a trophy.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly, does anyone on this panel think that even if we beat Man United, I don't think we do, by the way, even if we beat Man United, does anyone on this panel genuinely think we're going to win that Carabao Cup?
No, I don't.
So on that theory, surely you get rid of him and get someone in where you go, do you know what?
Agreed, mate.
Half a chance now,
I'd dig Gary Redknapp up. I'd dig 74, 75.
100%.
I'd dig him up at the end of the season. Get him in there. There would be a buzz around the ground again like you've never seen. Get him back, mate. I'm telling you.
So Draven in the chat just said, surely we're not thinking about losing to say, come on, things aren't that bad.
Well, they are because
we lost to Ipswich Town, mate.
Yeah.
We lost to Ipswich Town at home. Let's think about that, man. Ipswich. How long were they last in the Premier League? 20 years ago? Maybe a bit longer?
Yeah, a bit longer.
Let's be fair with it. Ipswich have a championship squad in the Premier League. We had no right to lose to them, and we did. So I get your point, but I've seen us lose to worse team. Ipswich are a worse footballing side than Southampton squad-wise. Southampton all over the place, but
I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned.
Go on, Nigel. Sorry.
I just think if we don't win against Southampton, we're already 11th. If we don't beat Southampton, we have Liverpool at home. We won't win that, and then we have Forest away. Forest are playing really good football.
On Boxing Day.
Yeah, if we were to lose both those games, we could be down in 15th place.
My God.
But isn't that the concern though? You look after that Southampton game, you go, where's the next win? You've got say you get past Southampton, you've got Man United, not an easy game. Liverpool, not an easy game. Forest away, not an easy game. You could argue Wolves should be an easy game. Should be. Don't know. Newcastle, whether or not they're still a big Newcastle's still a good side, whether or not they're good or not. Like out of those next games up until the new year, you look at and going, maybe Wolves. So, mate, I'm cheering when I get the news, because it's coming. When I get that picture that comes up saying that there's a club statement, then I'll be in a great mood, because then he's gone and we can actually get a proper football manager in, not this chaos, whatever we're getting. But
oh dear, what's that state of things? Hey, look, I'm just looking at Southampton, and they don't play low block. They went away to Villa and they didn't play a low block. I'm just looking at their average player positions. So, they're not going to, and especially being at home, they're going to have a go at us.
Like Rog said, could be anything. Could be anything, that game.
The thing with this football as well, if you look at it, I think it's worse, this football. But everyone was saying in the ground that this football's good football, that we got our Spurs back. I said,
nah, it's bollocks, mate.
It's worse. It's worse than Conte football.
All we hear is entertaining. If you're a neutral, it's a great one.
It is. Yeah. Well, Jamie Carragher said it the other night on the Monday Night Football. He said, I love watching Spurs.
Yeah, I hate watching.
So he said, I love watching the Spurs.
He was talking about, weren't he, the other day, Carragher?
I love the optimism. I think I think we win the next two, by the way. I think we win the next two, but I could equally see us losing the next two as well. It's that mad at the moment.
Yeah. Well, they lost at home to Chelsea 5-1 a couple of weeks ago, 4th of December.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I just think we're such an odd team. Like, my point is our run now, you look at the run in up to February, Rangers away, Southampton away, should be winning those two. Man United, never easy. Liverpool, Forest, not easy. Wolves should be. Newcastle, not easy. Tamworth, well, if we lose to Tamworth, then what are we doing here? Arsenal, Everton, Hoffenheim in the Europa League, Leicester, Elfsborg, Brentford, and then Man United. Like, the games are coming thick and fast, right?
Tough ones as well. Tough games.
Yeah, there's
Dan, have I not already said, Dan, that it wouldn't surprise me if we went 1-0 down in Tamworth? I expect Tamworth to score first in that game.
Nice.
Oh, I'm 100% to win. Both teams to score.
Stop it. Tamworth? Yeah. Is it really
go down. We'll win, but we'll go down. Because
no, Nige, I'm 100% putting money on both teams to score, by the way. That is the biggest banker you'll ever get.
This is a joke. Honestly, this is becoming a joke when we're not even thinking we'll beat Tamworth. Come on.
Spurs.
Seriously now. Guys, look, Draven, he said we need some optimism more now than ever. But what is that optimism? Draven, please give us some. Because I ain't got none.
But
I
what?
haven't
but
got none left. Going
optimistic
home
about
and
what?
away
The
all
thing
country,
is,
I ain't got none.
as I said, the
left.
optimism comes when this
Oh,
manager's
God.
out of the door. The optimism comes
much.
when he's out of the door and we get a proper football manager. Then I go, do you know what? We can salvage our season. That is optimism for me. Once we get the guy pretending to be a football manager because he's plays everything on gung-ho, ultra attacking, what are we doing here?
Every game is tough for us. That's the
But
whole
it shouldn't
point.
be, though. We're
That's the
Tottenham
whole
Hotspur.
point.
Shouldn't
Every
be,
game
no.
is tough. Every game. And this is why Ange needs to go. I'm
It
sorry.
shouldn't be. There are games. There is enough crap in this league that we should be beating, right? Enough crap in.
Yeah.
Look, I don't look. Danny's gone. By the way, Danny's gone, and I'd have had the debate with him. I think the Premier League is the most overrated football league in the world at the moment. It's so overrated. I think it's average, man. You look at some of the crap in this league. You look at what the so-called big teams are at the moment. Man United are a mess. Newcastle should be doing a lot better. Teams above us, we should be doing better than the likes of Brighton, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, Forest, all these lot, right?
But we're not though, Perchy. The thing is, your mate put it up. What's his name? It's Sava. He put it up. Great. He does great great bits of stats and information.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, we're I think he put it the 9th best team overall form, and there's the Bournemouths above us, there's the Newcastles above us, there's all these teams who are doing. So, are we where we are meant to be? In a way, are we where we're meant to be?
But do you know what it was though? And I have this argument all the time. I agree, Simply Ace, by the way, proper footballers over there, proper footballers in Spain. What I would say is, no one would have had anyone from Brentford's team in the summer. If I said maybe in Burmo, I'll park in Burmo. But if I said, oh, we're going to sign Ethan Pinnock in the summer to play at centre half, we'd all be going, what? Oh, we're going to sign Ryan Yates in our midfield. What? Yeah. Oh, we're going to sign Adam Webster at Brighton at centre half. Sorry, what? We're going to sign who's the fella I'm thinking of at Bournemouth? Who's the guy? Like Lewis Cook or someone like that in their midfield, or we took their best striker and they replaced him with a better one. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. Yeah. If Anderson walks into our team right now. Oh, the Romero comment. We're going to talk about the Romero comment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Talk about the Romero comment.
Yeah, and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, who wants to go first on Romero? Detrex, you ain't spoke for a while, man. What's your thoughts on the Romero comment?
No, because there's a good debate between these two, so I just wanted to let them go. But
who's that?
Perchy, I know he needs to let his anger out, so I'm just
letting him go. On the Romero debate?
No, on the Spurs general,
Oh no, I'm done with all that, mate. I'm done, mate. I think we're hilarious. I think this football club's hilarious. I think we've got a fan base that I think are absolutely hilarious as well, because in the summer everyone was telling me how great we are and we were going to challenge for titles. So I think it's hilarious. I said that it's funny. I get called negative all the time. All the time I get called negative.
A realist.
Every time, everything. Do you know what's brilliant? You know, with the WhatsApp groups and stuff, you can use the search function, right? The search function is brilliant. I went back to a comment that I put in on the 8th or 9th of August. We must have played in a friendly. And it was everything that has gone wrong. I said, this manager has to sign a number 6. We haven't got a defensive midfielder. This manager needs to adapt his tactics if he's playing this season. And the other one, we need to stop giving away silly goals. Everything of those have all come true this season. But I think it's hilarious. Everything I say has come true and I'm still wrong by our fan base. But if we want to talk about the Romero debate, though, the Romero debate's brilliant. Do I like what he said? Yeah, credit to him. But do I also think this is a guy that is covering his own back a little bit from covering up his deficiencies? Because I find it very convenient for the likes of a Romero to look. This is me being a cynic. Very convenient for Romero to call out the owners, right? Why weren't you calling it out in August when we weren't signing players? Why has it come when we're on a bad run of form? It just feels really convenient for me. Is this a way that he can master and move out of the football club? maybe.
I think he's gone. I think
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
Real
Like-
Madrid.
Can
Gone.
I?
Yeah, go on,
Yeah.
Dietrich, go on, mate.
Yeah. Just want to say about the Romero comments. I think it was pretty hypocrite coming from him.
I
Because I'll
agree.
tell you why. He's been at the club since what? Almost 4 years. Close to 4 years.
About that,
You had
yeah.
4 years to call out the team. No, call out the owners, but now you decide. You're apparently he was the one that wanted Conte out. And after all the debacle with Argentina, when Levy didn't want to spend money to buy his jet to go pick him up for Argentina, that's when you start talking about the club. Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna back him because he's the same guy that, like, he doesn't fight anymore. He doesn't care anymore. So now it's convenient for you on your last year of your contract.
Do you know what, Dietrich? I think you're spot on with that. By the way,
Hang on.
I think
Hang on.
it's convenience for him to say it because do you know what? He knows there's bigger clubs sniffing to be a centre half, and people like Draven in the chat saying he's being honest. Fine, nothing against the wording on what he said. For me, I think it's convenience over like it's like, hang on a minute, whoa. You weren't saying it in the summer. You were saying things like, I love the ambition of this football club in the summer and comments like that. Now it's not like when we're not doing well and you're not sure with it. I just think it's a bit convenient personally.
I agree.
Sorry, Nigel, you go.
This is a player who has always put Argentina before Spurs. Since he's been here, it's always been country before club. And I think he's angling a way out. I think he knows he wants to leave. And I think it's his way of winding up the board that when it comes down to it, they're quite happily selling.
He's not going to call out the manager, is he? You know,
of course he ain't.
No, of course not. No, of course not. He wants to play.
He's saying that. He probably doesn't believe in the manager himself.
No, but actually,
he's not stupid, right? Sorry, Dietrich.
No, but actually, he did call out Conte. Because apparently he went on Argentina media and said like how much Conte system stinks and how much he's killing us in training. But now under Ange, you're not saying anything. Like, it's just hypocrite. It's hypocrisy for me.
Yeah.
As I say, for me, I sit there and go, look, again, for me, is he the martyr? What I think it is it's amazing PR, by the way. Whoever runs his PR has gone, do you know what? We can get you out of the club and you'll be considered a hero from our from that fan base. Say this stuff. The owners, you'll get booted out. They won't want to sign you on. You will sell you and the fans will call you a martyr. Not for me. Like, not for me. I think that's how I see it. Like, that is brilliant public relations for Christian Romero at Tottenham because slag off the owners. We know there's an issue with the owners and people know that. Get yourself to a bigger club. Maybe a Real Madrid. I'll use those as an example. And then when you leave, everyone will be talking about you're a hero and you're the martyr for us. Not for me. For me, I think it was similar to Conte in a sense. When Conte had his rant, I felt that was equally a similar thing. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I said it at the time. Conte, I felt, used that as a way to deviate from his issues at the club and his problems and then leave as a martyr. For me, I'm not one of these. I don't look at it like that. Do you know what? Just shut up and get on with it. Defend better, right? Defend better. The amount of mistakes this guy's made all season, it's a bit ironic coming from him. If you've been perfect all season, maybe I can get it.
Guys, I've got to wrap it up. I've got to go. Unless Nigel, you want to continue? Nigel,
that's fine, mate. That's fine,
look,
buddy.
Let's go around the panel. Final comments on Spurs. Like our kind of summary of, first of all, quick prediction on Southampton, and then we'll just give our final thoughts on the evening, and then we'll close down for the night.
I think we draw against Southampton. I'll go for, again, another 1-1, sitting on the fence.
Okay. Perchy?
I think we win the next two. I think we beat Rangers and I think we beat Southampton. But it doesn't change anything for me. We could win 4-0 both games. Nothing changes. If you're going to get rid of this manager before we're out of all competitions and you have an opportunity to nick a cup, That's how I say. We're going nowhere. This manager. The manager's crap. Get him out.
Yeah, look, there's something I wanted to put out on the screen. I don't know if you got it, Nige. About Angie's not. They're not considering sacking him, are they? I don't know if you got that anyway.
Oh,
but
they're
I'm
backing
sure-
him, yeah.
Is this it? Wasn't this? This is the awkward vote of confidence that will probably last 5 minutes. Let's be fair.
Yeah,
He loses
you've seen
the
it,
next. If he
but
loses the next two, he is gone. Any? Let's be fair with it.
Yeah, but
Usually,
they
when
said-
you get the vote of confidence, that's it.
Yeah. It's the PR vote of confidence, and you're out of here, aren't you?
That's so true. It's so true, isn't it? Oh dear. All right,
'Cause-
Detrex, final words for the night, mate.
So I'll just give my quick prediction. I think it's gonna be a 2-2. We're gonna be winning 2-0, and then they're gonna come back 2-2. I would not be surprised.
You wouldn't predict that, would you?
I'm not, and two of their goals were gonna be set pieces. So that's how we're gonna concede. And final thoughts. I just hope that one day we're gonna unite as one fan base and stop being divided and just get these owners out and get everything else. Cartman, Levy, Lange, Ange, everyone. The scouts, the players, everyone out. And until that happens, I have no confidence, and let's keep Ange. Because that's people only care about entertainment.
Right.
Detrex, that's a good shout, to be fair.
Protest. Oh, sorry, Perchy, just quickly.
Yeah.
The protest, 22nd of December, 3:00 before the Liverpool game. If you leave me out, encourage you to get down there. I'm going to get down there myself.
I'll be there.
We've
Yeah, I'll
got
be
to
there.
get down there.
I might be
Can I-
in that bottom picture, by the way.
No, you are.
If you cropped it, I'm in there somewhere.
No, you
Sorry
are.
about that, man.
I know
thought
you
that
are.
out with the, yeah,
But-
it's not a very good picture.
Dan, I'll just give one quick thoughts on just the protest.
Sure.
For me, protests, I'll just give my honest opinions. Being outside the stadium is a good thing because you bring attraction. But for me, the most important is inside the stadium and
Yeah.
not letting people spend money at the bar or at the food. If we can manage to do this, I'm telling you this right now, we're gonna get these owners out. But that's the only way.
Hit them in
Because
the
screaming
pocket.
leave it out is not gonna make any difference. Hurt them where it matters more, and that's the money.
What I would say though, Detrex, what needs to happen, and by the way, I want change, but I don't think it will ever happen.
Never gonna happen, mate.
But
It's never
what I
happening.
will say,
It's never
what
happening.
needs to happen is it doesn't need to happen. It needs to stop happening when we're losing a few games of football. The best time, do you know what the best time to
When we're
protest
winning.
is? When we're winning.
Yeah.
Because that's when
Yep.
change will happen. That's the time when we stop going, when people stop protesting and people stop chanting "leave you out." When you're doing it when we're winning, that's when it means business. I'll give you. I know you want to wrap up. I'll give you a good example. Valencia hate their owners. Do you know what they did? As a
No.
collective? They had a game. They mass protested. All stood outside with their tickets. Or no, I can't remember if they had the tickets or not. Basically, there was no one in the stadium, and they were all standing outside during a game, watching it on their phones. And the old Bill were recording them all off. Every fan, there was no one in the stadium. My point is, and they were winning the game at that point. I think they were 2-0 up at that point, and there was no one in the stadium. So, if you're going to protest, go for it, but it has to continue. You can't just do it when we're losing a bad game. We've lost a couple of games here and there. It has to happen consistently.
And then just quickly, I know you have to wrap up. Just quickly, the one more thing. The only time we were united is when it was the Super League. That's the only time.
Yeah.
And when I see stuff like, do you know when it was the first fan forum and when Levy said we got our Tottenham back and everyone was clapping? For me, that's the problem. Is that you're ready to clap when anything they say or there's any change. Even if we've changed Anne, she's going to do the same stupid shit and it's going to happen once again. Give it 18 months, another 18 months. I just want it to stop.
Yeah, I don't think anything will change. What the problem is I've always said the genie's out of the hat sort of thing. The genie's out of the what do you call it? Urn. Is that what it's called? Urn? Oh, I don't know. But the problem is they've built a monster now, and now the monster they've built Frankenstein, and now we're trying to defeat Frankenstein instead of defeating the end of it. Like, do you know what I mean? Should have just stopped it the long time, but it is what it is. It's happened.
Guys, Mark, final thoughts and prediction. Southampton.
3-2 Spurs. All right, 3-2 Spurs. I think it's been up and down game, but I just think, long story short, mate, it'll be a revolving door at that club until you get the top men out. But they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere.
Oh, okay, Nige, final thoughts from you.
I think. Listen, I thought Levy might sack him after the defeat against Chelsea, just by the fact that watching it on TV, seeing all the cut scenes, keeping on going back and forth to him. I said on the watch along, I think he's gone tonight. I think he could be gone by the weekend if we lose our next two or don't win our next two. I think this next week is massive for Ange.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Final thoughts from me. Look, I can't see the next win. It has to be Southampton. Of course, it must be 12 losses they've had. If we can't beat Southampton, then it's just the whole thing's pointless. I want the manager gone ASAP. When that will happen, who knows? But the more defeats we'll get, the closer that will come. So look, I just want to say big up to everybody on the panel. Mark, thanks for joining on. It's been lovely to meet you, man. Obviously, I've been talking to you in the chats and stuff like that. And thank you for the support of the show and videos and stuff. It's brilliant. Thank you. Perchy, lovely to meet you as well, man.
Cheers, man.
You've been great. Thanks for jumping on. And, hopefully we'll get you guys on again. And Detrex, man, you snuck in through the back door tonight, but it's been great having you on, man, as well. So thank you. And everybody in the chat, thank you for getting involved with your comments. Really appreciate it. It's been a great show, quite a lively one. So I'd just like to say good night to everyone, and everybody else want to say goodbye.
Yeah, I just want to say, guys, everyone subscribe, get them to 1K. They deserve it. They've been doing some great job.
Make sure you
like
subscribe.
They're almost 600 away. Get them to 1K. Come on, guys.
Thank you, Detrex. And also, people, if whoever stream you've watched it from, because it goes live on Niger's as well, please just pop into Niger's, give him a sub, give him a like as well, because me and Nigel, we do the show together. And I want to make sure he gets the love as well. So if people could do that, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. And big up to Dan as well for joining us, and also for Jords as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to them guys as well. And I just want to say good night, everybody. And another game will be on Thursday. Who knows what will happen, but we'll be back. Take care, everybody. Good night. And we'll speak to you all soon.
Take care, everyone. Bye.